We are here, honest to goodness, in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Our very backyard.
I think one of the interesting facts about this building too is it sat abandoned for like 30 years.
What was that?
The hair on my, it's all standing up right now. Look at that. Actual goosebumps.
Oh my god, is my shirt moving right now?
Yeah, like pulled out.
It's different.
My name is Mildred.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
I came from a dark place.
Whoa,
Whoa, that just got really weird.
What the fuck? That's weird.
Whoa, what is it doing?
What the fuck?
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me as always is...
Trevor Jensen.
And today our special guest, Void Between Worlds. Ow, ow, ow.
Whoa.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh,
Of
we're glad
course,
to
of
have
course.
you. And of course, before we start here, we have the Haunted Tattoo Shop video coming out tomorrow. Honestly,
Yeah, sorry for like bashing it in your guys' faces.
we're just super
Every week
excited
so
about it.
far.
It's awesome.
We're super excited about it. So make sure you come back to the same spot tomorrow at 8 p.m. to watch it with us. But with getting that out of the way,
Click, check, done.
we always like to start off our show with where are you from?
Yep, an easy one.
We're from upstate New York,
Oh, New
right
York.
in the Adirondacks.
Nice.
So
Upstate.
Most people
Hell yeah.
think of like city area when they think of
No.
New York, but we're like in the mountain area.
All right, yeah, totally different than in the city.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's like some big locations that are located around you guys?
Have you heard of Lake George? New
I
York?
feel like I have like on an episode
Can't
of
say that I
I'm
have.
listening to.
There-
I don't remember
there
what
Hot
though.
Springs,
Mm-mm.
Albany.
Well, a good location would be like Fort William Henry. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Okay, so that's in Lake George. That's like
Yeah.
15 minutes from us.
Oh, that's just a literal jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been there before. Highly recommend.
Awesome.
So how long have you guys been doing this?
What, since 20? So us together since like 2020. I started like around 16-ish. But yeah, since 2020 roughly.
All right.
And then 2021, Aiden and B, started with us. So
Yeah.
See, I'm not the date guy, Riley is. So like if you
Yeah.
asked me when we started this, I'd be like many years ago.
I
I don't know.
She just waits for me to answer. She's
Yeah.
like, so.
I will stutter and mumble until it's like, just pick it up, man. Like I'm
Yeah.
dropping the mic for you. So what started it off for you guys? You know, like what got you into the paranormal since we've known how long you've done it for now?
Sure. Did you want to start like your interest? In the
Well,
Oh
I
boy,
think
here we go. Now we're cooking.
We both have always been interested.
But like,
like-
you, yeah.
We started by just talking about going to places, and she's like, "Would you go?" And I'm like, maybe no.
It's
But
pretty
then, like,
sketchy.
Skeptic. She's skeptic.
But then we
Skeptical.
finally went, and like we just kept going, like to different places. So
Yeah.
It's hard not to. Like
Yeah.
when you start and then you start experiencing things, you're kind of like,
Mhm.
I have more questions now.
Yeah.
Me personally, I was like 16 ish around that age. Well, what happened was an experience. I like antiquing old stuff. That's
Love
my
it.
day. So it was with my sister and my mother. And it was a shop in Delaware where I moved or lived prior to moving up here. And it was an antique shop that it was actually closed that day.
Mhm.
we didn't know it was closed. And then the owner actually happened to be there that day, and she's like,
That's
yeah, it's okay.
crazy.
Like, you guys can like come and check things out. She was the sweetest, absolute nicest lady ever. Highly recommend checking it out. I think it's in Dover, Delaware, on the highway. Putting it out there for folks.
Fuck yeah. Free advertising.
Yeah. But no, nicest lady, and like the coolest things, little knickknacks here and there that you don't see in every like big name antique shop.
Yeah, you see like more oddities than you do like the normal.
Yeah, 100%. So it was just us, literally just us it was a house. It's a house. It's a 2-story house. And so my sister and I were facing this 1-bedroom upstairs. The owner was actually outside. And then my mother was like about like 10-ish steps behind us. We were facing this one room that was filled with mirrors and
shit.
Oh yeah, as we all know, it's like rooms filled or mirrors facing each other is like portals, but it was like a whole bunch of mirrors.
Psychomantium.
Yeah. It was
crazy.
like all antique mirrors too. So we were facing that room, and then all of a sudden we hear a woman giggle.
Oh shit.
We looked at each other like, what the hell was that? Because we know that wasn't our mother. You know your mom's laugh. You know your siblings laugh, you know? We looked at each other like super confused. So I'm like, Mom, did you have like a video playing? Like, who are you talking
about?
Like,
don't lie to me right now.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not the time to be playing with me. So she's like, no. And we're like, did you hear the giggle? It was in an increment of
Oh no!
like scary.
We lost him for
One
a
of
second.
those-
Yeah.
It was one of those not questions, but it was one of those things that it leaves you with questions, because we're like, there's nothing in these rooms for anybody to be giggling, no explanation for it whatsoever. So I feel like that definitely made us made myself kind of delve into the paranormal.
Yeah, how does it not, you know? It's so intriguing. Like, what is that sound? Where does it come from? Like, I have so many more questions. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, it was right there. It was like right next to us. So we were so confused as to like, and the fact that our mom didn't hear it. So that was weird.
It begs the question, you know, like, was it right next to you guys? And it's like, how far did that sound travel? Or like, was it meant for just you? You know, it's like, that's weird.
That's what I always wonder too. Like, sometimes I think like spirits choose a person and they only let that person
Specifically,
experience the whole like paranormal stuff. Like,
I feel like that's
we've
why
had a lot of
people
times
see
where
shadows.
like especially in like using the S box or something, like
Yeah.
in an Estes method, it only talk to one person.
It picks and chooses.
Everyone else just can sit there for like an hour, not even hear a single peep. And then another person puts it on, nothing. And then say it's Trevor, he puts on the headphones and he's just getting word after word after word.
And it's all super relevant stuff. And it's like,
yeah,
I'm not making it up, man. I promise.
Right. It's like I'm answering, or it's like when somebody's asking a question and obviously clearly you don't hear it, and it
like I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's happened to us before in like different locations, so we totally get that.
So what's your favorite tool to use on investigations then?
I don't know. I feel
it's
like
such a hard question because there's so many fun toys.
Yeah, there's so many things that you want to also like test out, because like in different locations, one thing might work better
exactly
than other things.
Yep.
So I don't know, perhaps just a regular old recorder, just because it's
simple. I mean, I'm right there with you, honestly.
Yeah. The EVPs are becoming my new favorite thing.
It's just so credible. Like, what is it?
It's hard to explain. It really is. Especially like in our video coming up, we literally did like abandonments like for the first time ever. Really, we've done them before, but
not really paid attention or been serious about it.
And we caught so many, I think like 3 EVPs all in this one session. We're like,
yeah,
that's insane, because there's nobody in here. There should be no voice.
And there was nobody on the streets outside. Like, it was quiet because we were on the balcony outside, but we weren't yelling and we didn't hear anybody yelling. So it's like, what the fuck is happening?
Right, and it's not like something that can be manipulated in real time, and like you have proof because you're recording it and you're like playing it back live. You hear it freaks you out because you're like, did you hear that? Because I heard that.
Yeah, that's the craziest feeling too, is when you're standing there and like you ask your question, you all stand there and it's quiet, and you're like, all right, let's give it a shot, I guess. And then you play it back and it's like, leave me alone. And you're like, whoa, bruh, I saw all of your mouths. None of them moved.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're like the greatest ventriloquist ever that you can project your voice directly into a tiny microphone that's sitting on the floor. Like, the fuck just happened?
Exactly. What was the like craziest EVP you guys have catched or caught?
Oh, definitely the footsteps at
Yeah,
the
we
house.
could probably even show you. Like, either me or Riley can pull it up, because it is seriously some of the most incredible sound I've ever heard. Because, like, I'm still finishing the video for ours, but like all 4 of our cameras plus 3 EVP recorders caught it, and they all caught it at different decibel levels. So like the ones that were closer to the staircase in relative, like where we were standing, it was louder every camera you got closer to it. So it's like,
No
okay,
lie, I think it might be the greatest paranormal capture in history.
Where was this at again?
Little biased.
this
but
was at the Van Buren County Poorhouse in Michigan.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's the coolest too, because it's got 42 rooms full of antiques, all like from the area, and it's the last poorhouse in Michigan. And it is fucking crazy in there. We got some really crazy EVPs throughout the night too. Like it was seriously one of the most incredible nights of like just EVPs we've ever gotten to. But then we caught the craziest disembodied footsteps we've ever heard in our lives too.
Wild.
Yeah, it was a mess in here.
Cat ball.
I moved it.
Oh.
But yeah, mess. That's intelligent.
It's a mess. So I'm gonna start yours. I'm gonna set mine over here. Sit opposite sides of the room, I guess.
Just getting a minute guys so you can see what's going on.
So last year a storm hit the back of this building and destroyed the roof. How do you guys feel about that?
This is helping me.
Does this make you guys very upset? How does the construction make you feel?
Is that just someone shuffling around?
Yeah. But it did to
How does the construction make you feel?
no, that's running.
That's
dude.
fucking running.
That's someone running.
Yeah, no,
That's all of us were standing in one place.
Yeah, because you couldn't even make that noise.
All right, cut it. That's good enough. So yeah, we were literally almost in that exact same semicircle, and Riley had asked the question, you know, like, how does the construction make you feel? And this was because there was a tornado that ripped the roof off of the place, and like there was like almost a full cave in on one side of the building, except for it being held up by a giant case that had the Last Supper like in textile on it. So like that was already weird enough in its own right. But you know, like it made sense that in that room that they were doing all the construction, that we had heard a ghost all night. I'm pretty sure her name is Anna or Anna. Like if you say it wrong, she'll correct you, and she did. And like by the time we were downstairs, it seemed like the mood started to change after the footsteps were running away from us. So we think, you know, like there was something else there maybe that like scared her off.
More, darkness behind.
Yeah, so like she was getting the fuck out of there before, because then after that we caught like EVPs of it saying
completely
my
different
name.
voice than what we've been capturing.
Yeah, and it said my name, and then I had asked for hugs throughout the night, and at one point we got an EVP that said that I could have a hug, and then I said it again while after the footsteps, and then we heard another EVP that was like, Trevor can't have a hug now, and we were like, what the fuck is that, dude?
Right.
And then don't forget, and then after that,
yeah, and then it's like
Trevor. Over,
and it's like,
laughing. Like all of us in the like EVP were kind of like laughing and joking around,
and it's like it
just
screams at
scream
us
over us.
It was fucking weird.
Definitely
that's
scary.
like,
I was honestly kind of scared. Like you could see it in my hands.
We wrapped it up
I'm
shortly
like
after that.
shaking.
Yeah.
we probably would have got the hell out of there too.
Yeah,
right
if
after.
I
It's
heard,
like,
like-
okay.
That's probably the only time on an investigation that I've actually kind of been like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Mood
Whoa,
changed real
pump
quick. It
the
was a whole
brakes
new
for a
vibe.
second,
Yeah.
dude.
Whole new vibe in there.
It's different when you actually go and investigate these places. It's like when we went to Mid Orange Correctional Facility, when we like stepped into the second floor, it was like the whole like thickness of the air.
Yeah,
Just
with the darkness, and it just
yeah.
feels way thicker.
Yeah.
Darker is darker than the normal dark.
Like,
Yeah, and
we've
it's
always heard people talk about that, but we've never experienced that.
Yeah, when you walk into it for the first time, it's like shit.
Yeah.
yeah, and
We,
it's
we
not
both
like
looked at
we
each
looked
other.
at each other
we
like
didn't
that's
say
weird.
anything.
Like
We were just
to
like-
actually feel it is weird because it's not like you can describe it as like, oh, it's humid. No, it's like
It was like we
humid
just
with the
walked
thickness but without the
into,
heat.
like, a
If that
different-
makes sense.
We always say it's
Yeah.
like static cobwebs. Like
Yeah.
Riley coined that phrase, and it's like, yeah, you walk through literally like it feels like cobwebs of just electricity sometimes. It's
Mhm.
like you get that pocket of like,
Yeah.
the fuck is going on, dude?
Right.
That's crazy because like sometimes like you feel it throughout your whole body, and then sometimes it's only like just on your arm, or
Yeah, you get like a hot
just
spot.
half of you, or like just on your neck, or like in
Yeah.
a weird spot, and it's super strange.
And then it's like
I
why-
think that's always like you getting touched. Personally,
Yeah.
that's what I feel like.
that was what in Rolling Hills.
Mhm.
You felt it in like a certain spot on her arm. She was like, "This is I haven't felt this. This is weird." It's like I feel a weird spot on my arm right now.
Right? Well, and it's
and
like then you
that's
don't
the
want to feel
problem.
crazy either when you're
But
like,
I was like,
I feel
maybe
this.
It's just my arm.
And it's like trying to brush it off. Maybe it's just my
That's
arm
me
being
too,
weird.
though.
Yeah.
Like I can logically explain this right now, where it's like I'm having a muscle spasm.
Yeah.
Like this is something that normally happens to people. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm also like the crazy type where it's like the psychology aspect of all of it, where it's like if you see something very traumatic, it's gonna bury that shit subconsciously. So like dreams are gonna bring it out. I feel like because I've had a lot of dreams that shouldn't have happened, that have happened, that it's like, whoa, that was way too vivid. And I
Mhm.
think what we saw in the dream is real compared to what I think I saw in real time.
I have the weirdest dreams. So talking about like weird, there was this EVP that we caught while we were at
Rolling Hills.
Hinsdale.
Oh, Hinsdale.
In
The
the woods.
Hinsdale House, hell yeah.
The Hinsdale House, yeah. We were in the woods near
Oh,
the
yeah, that
blessing
was
tree.
weird.
That it was like it was just so loud and like no explanation for it whatsoever because we clearly didn't react to the sound. We didn't hear it in real time. So
Yep, happens to us too.
yeah. So it was just like we were talking about the creaking of the trees just because it was a little bit windy. So you hear the trees creak right above us, and
Mm.
then you hear like something almost replicate the sound of the tree, like louder into the EVP, and it made no sense whatsoever because we're like nobody in real time replicated the creaking sound vocally.
Or took the recorder and put it closer to the tree.
Exactly. So yeah,
That is really odd.
That's wow.
Mhm.
You're like, what? Why? And honest to God, I think we've been mimicked before too. Like the Xbox has made our voice sounds before, and that to me that's incredible. Where it's like I know Riley's cadence, I know his tone. Like I've known him long enough now to like that's what he sounds like, and same goes for me and him. Where it's like no, I can pick myself. I've listened to fucking 178 episodes of my voice now. Like I fucking know what I sound like.
Right.
Mhm.
They're like, I'm not talking, but I hear
Yeah, like
myself.
that can't be happening. Like
Right.
they don't play our show on regular radio. We
It's
too
not
naughty
hitting
for that.
Spotify right now. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
it's
would
I
get
mean,
flagged down so hard on normal radio.
yeah, I like to curse like a sailor some days, and other days I can be tame.
Little known fact: when we first started the show, until like episode,
We didn't know you could swear.
it was whatever episode T Slade's on. We didn't swear until that episode, and then
And then he asked if we could, and we said, "Fuck it, let's do it." Oh, it's the best. Or like my wife had an experience too, where she would like. Do you guys believe in like skinwalkers or like like Native American folklore and things like that?
Honestly, why not?
Why not?
Way too many things that we cannot explain. So why
Yeah,
not?
so like going through like the mimic stuff, like well, in our neck of the woods in the Great Lakes area, we have Wendigos, and it's it's kind of wild to think because like if you hear like the sound of your voice in the woods, like get the fuck away. Because like that's what the Native Americans used to say is like the bad medicine would turn these like people evil and then they turn into these creatures that eat your soul basically. And it's like, yeah. But then there's like there's firsthand accounts of this stuff happening around here. And then my wife had it happen to her where she was like hearing like something like whistling at her from like, you know, like down by the like the lake and like some of the wooded areas down there. And it's like it was 4 a.m. in the middle of a blizzard. Like deer were just like standing staring for no reason for an extra long time. Like creepy.
No,
A little weird.
super creepy. Yeah, I've heard you shouldn't be whistling in the woods, period, yourself.
Yeah, and it's like and it was cold that like when she was doing it too, because we had like that polar vortex bullshit going on and we got dumped on from like 5 inches a night every night, it seemed like, for like a whole 2 weeks.
Jeez. It was like what, 2 or 3 years ago? We had to like dig out our cars.
Yeah.
It was way too much snow.
Yeah, winters here do get pretty brutal, but it's like it's just like accounts like that. And then I know Riley knows about it too, like being a hunter himself. Like when you go out into the woods, like even like the thick woods that we have around here don't do it justice when you go to like the national forests that we have around here. It's when you don't hear the natural wildlife around you, something's
When
wrong.
you can't hear cars, the silence is different.
Yeah, like it's the most eerie
Yeah.
feeling.
Once the car noise goes away, like the whole woods is a whole different feel because like you realize how far away you are from like civilization at that point.
Did you realize that when we were in the Native American cemetery too, the Custer Cemetery, there was no background noise from the cars or
the
anything?
closest
I was
road is like 4 miles away.
Oh, dude, that I didn't even think about how serene that really was and how very fucking creepy it was just me and you doing it.
On the edge of a river.
That's kind of how it felt in Hinsdale. When we went to Hinsdale.
Well, yeah, there's
Like that.
there's actually like indigenous, like Native American ties to that land too there.
Mm.
When we were
I
actually,
just started learning about it.
oh my gosh, please
Yeah.
visit. It's one of those things that you have to experience. So when we actually went to go visit the location, the GPS took us the wrong way. It took us deep into the woods, like, and it was like 9 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't feel like we're going the right
Like this can't be it, dude. It's a
I'm
house.
like, this is not the right way. I do a U-turn out of there because I'm like, we need to get the hell out of here. Like, it's too dark.
This
I
is
can't see shit.
this has to be private property. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what the fuck I am.
exactly. See shit. I don't want anybody pulling out anything. So we do a U-turn, and then it recalculates, and yeah, it was making us go the wrong way. And then we spoke to the house manager at the time, and like questioned it with her. She's like, "Oh yeah, it happens to people."
Oh,
that
it happens.
here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it happens to
It's
people.
like
that
that's
moves like that.
odd. Like it does happen, but like also where it's like I think I've seen pictures of it and where it's located and like
Mhm.
GPS
really in
should
the middle
take
of
you
nowhere,
right
isn't
to
it?
it. Yeah, like
Isn't
it's
it kind
on
of
a
like in the
dirt.
middle of nowhere itself? Like
It is an
Yeah.
isolated house,
And
but like it should take you right to it. To be honest, like there's no like real weird back roads or anything to
Right.
take to it.
Mhm.
Because I did the whole like look it up, see how far away it is. I want to go to it too, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beware if you do go.
Yeah.
you do
Don't
go.
go straight in. And
So
you
like,
think
does
you're
it
going
really
the
live
wrong
up
way.
to the hype though? You know, like it's the Hinsdale House is very synonymous with like dark and like really creepy, and like the layout of it is like almost like
Yeah.
disorienting.
and the house
It
had
is
an
kind of-
exorcism,
it
not
is.
people, but the house
The
itself.
house, yeah. Like, did it
The
feel
house itself
oppressive
and
to
the
you
land.
guys?
Honestly, the house itself and the land itself,
Mm,
100% has like a lot of history tied to it. A lot of like sad history.
right.
Yeah, didn't a
But
little kid get sawed in half or something like that?
apparently,
I don't remember that part, but damn.
something along those lines. Yeah, a little boy.
Frosted
property.
Flakes, damn.
They
I
found
know my haunted places, man. I know them.
graves recently, right? 2 graves.
Two potential
near the
grave sites
house.
near the house.
I
So
heard they even thought like a
Remain-
girl drowned in the pond or whatever too, even
Yeah,
potentially. Like she
Mhm.
fell out of the boat or something like that, like in the early 1800s.
yeesh.
I don't know if that's true or not, or if it's just a rumor that got
I
started.
definitely heard of it before.
The woods, though, the woods
I-
itself, we were in the woods, and people were asking questions, and you got responses from what sounded like a distance, like somebody taking a piece of wood and whacking it on the trunk of a tree.
Mhm.
But like
Spot.
it was like, can you do 2 knocks? And that was the response, and we're like,
Yeah.
something's here. And it's not like
I'm
you know,
not
it's not
saying
rocket
it's a Bigfoot,
up- no.
but I'm saying it's a Bigfoot.
And then remember the solar light that was hanging from the tree? It was
Yeah.
lit the whole time
Yes.
we were like there. And then right as we were about to leave, it turned off.
It was a
Really?
solar light that
Yeah.
was multicolored. Like it was just changing colors. But so they noticed that once they like answered questions, it would just turn all green or all red when it was like a multicolored light. So there wasn't really an option for at least that we've seen while we were there, and it was on for it to just
Huh.
be one solid color. And yeah, and then once we left and we said goodbye, it like shut off completely.
That's weird. See,
Mhm.
our good friend Blood Moon Paranormal shared a clip with us when we did our end of the year, roundup where we let everybody
2023
show their
Paranormal
fucking
Evidence Showcase.
awesomest dope stuff. And he gave us a new clip from next year's video, and it shows literally a light that like is like a rotary type click light,
Mhm.
and it skips 2 of the settings and goes to straight up on all of the lights, because it's like the tree type of lights with like 3 lights on it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's like, why lights being
And it
manipulated?
didn't
Yeah,
make a noise.
like that's fucking incredible shit. Like, how do you explain that stuff? Like, it shouldn't be doing that, and it is.
Mhm.
We've had an experience like that with flashlights
Yeah.
in mid orange. That was one that like really blew us away 100%.
Right.
You talk about it because she was trying so long, like for that whole week, she was trying to disprove it, like any type of scenario to try and disprove the
Mhm.
flashlights turning on and off to what we were asking.
Because I always like to like try to figure. I'm like a skeptic. I always feel like there's a reason behind something, but like this, I
Until
can't-
there's not.
Yeah, like they were literally turning on and off to our questions. We have videos of it and everything, but
Yep.
just
We
and
were,
then like the next time we went, we didn't feel like that change in atmosphere like we did
no,
the first time,
yeah.
and they were not doing that at all.
So
Right.
it was
Weird.
in the cathedral portion of it. We had, sorry if you hear our puppies at the door.
No, you're totally fine. I've got 2 cats and a dog and a 4-year-old
Yeah, my
over there
cat
with
will
head
make an
to the
appearance at some point, I'm sure.
We have 2 pit bulls that are the biggest babies.
Yep, Lulu's a pity and lab mix, and she's a
Aw.
fucking giant hog.
Yep. Think they're lap babies. They could just
Mhm.
sit there and they weigh a feather, but they do not.
100%. She sleeps under the covers with me every night.
Aw. That's Zoe. Zoe
Yeah.
loves being under the cover. But yeah, it was like in the doorway of the cathedral, and we pretty much were asking, if there's somebody here. It's on our TikTok and our Instagram account, where we ask questions like, "Are you here?" And then it was one of those like, it just on and off. There was no setting to make it brighter, any dimmer. There was no
Yeah.
setting to make it dim whatsoever.
Yeah,
At
it
one
wasn't
point,
like
they
super
like-
fancy. It's very.
Right,
Straight
it was
line.
a dollar
Dollar
Walmart
flashlight.
flashlight.
Oh my god, you guys literally have the same exact idea we did.
And, yeah, I'm like, it was just something simple, something not like high tech and that you can manipulate, like, and it went brighter at one point. It turned on and off, and it's just something
It was
that
like
we couldn't
dimming
explain.
in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something we
And,
could
like-
not explain.
Brought the flashlights home later, and we could not replicate it.
Yep.
Right, and there wasn't
Never
like
again have I
a
done.
temperature fluctuation either to potentially affect it. There was like nothing. I mean, we were in a building; the windows were shut and whatnot, and
That's
Um,
crazy.
and then
We
we
were
had
hearing
bangs.
bangs, yeah.
That was wild to me, hearing the bangs
So
loud.
it was all happening like together almost. Like you'd have like the
Oh,
lights
yeah.
and then bang, and then it like did it die down? Everything die down together too? Like no more bangs, no more lights, or was it like
The-
one or
Like
the
the
other?
end of the night, it did.
Those
Mhm.
dweebs want to know if it was one of the buttons ones or the twist
It was-
turn-ons.
It was one of the button ones.
Interesting as fuck, dude.
It's even more interesting than a turn one would be.
Yeah.
Because you got to actually click the button.
Yeah, yep. I'm gonna give them a treat so they stop whining.
Because I get what I wow. That's what that meant.
She literally will stick her mouth under the door and like scream under. Like, this is not as loud as
my
you can get
goodness.
lighter. She's like, no, I want a treat now. Pay attention.
That's so funny. I can't even. See, my dog will just like see dogs on the TV and then go into full play mode, and it's like, no. We live in a small house, dude. There's a child running around. You're running around like fuck.
Settle down, settle down.
Yeah, like we're gonna kill somebody tonight. We can't do that today.
But yeah, that's definitely one of our favorite locations, an Orange Correctional Facility. The second time around that we went, it wasn't as active, but as you guys know, it's not active every time you go to the same location. It's different. And that's what makes you want to go back and visit even more.
Yeah, because then you're like, what's the standard? Like, where's my baseline? Like,
I almost like
average, like to hit stuff, or it's not.
Like
Right,
if we go to a place and it hits like the first time we go, the next time we go there, I kind of want it to be a dud because I just feel like that makes the first time so much more valid. Like
That's how I feel about the flashlight thing because it didn't happen the second time we went there.
We've only had our experience with our buying of a $1 flashing duck.
Where are you?
Oh, I fucking have one too.
You have one? I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have it.
Yeah, so these. Oh, it doesn't flash. I'm fucking really stupid. There is one somewhere that flashes, but those little rubber ducks, right? The ones that have like the clicky flashy plates in it. Like we would buy a couple of them, and then we went to Eloise Asylum, and we put one in the middle of the group we were with, and we were like,
unannounced to them. We didn't tell anyone that it lit up or
I
anything.
think as soon as I just put it down, I was like, I just put a duck in the middle of everybody, and everybody's like, what? Like, what the fuck is he talking about? And you know, me and Riley were just like, it's a trigger object, and we're on the geriatric floor, so I was like, you know, it's like a little joke, like, you know, it's a toy, you know, bathtub toy, like whatever. We'll just see how it goes. On command, can you make that duck light up? Bam! It just start flashing, and it's like nobody's around it. Like you have to click that like button, and like we've never had it happen again since. And it's
Not
like,
even once.
what the fuck, dude? We bring it on every investigation. We at least bring one. So it's like I don't understand how that happened that time, because now it's like the standard is it does not happen, and we caught that unicorn literally the first time we tried it.
And what's
it's
crazy
like,
is we tried it on other floors that night too, and it didn't go off. But then we went back up to the geriatric floor. As soon as we set it down,
did
and
it
walked
again.
away from it, we wouldn't even have
That's
to tell them.
exactly
It would just go off.
We took the flashlight to other floors there.
Yeah, yep. Other floors did not work.
Yeah,
Was
it's
happening.
so odd how it like, is it these exact locations and these pockets that like they're just energized right then and there, or is it the whole location is energized and they're just choosing to be there at that time, or are we like passing by them in whatever reality we're in? I have no fucking idea.
Well, it's like it goes into that like theory where it's like, is it a time overlapping too? We saw that episode of Ghost Nation, and they did an experiment at Mid Orange, and it was in one of the rooms where the boys slept, and they did like a fogger throughout the rooms in the hallway, and in the specific room, they noticed the fog took shape like around a rectangular shape, but there was nothing there. But that's where a bed would have been.
Yeah.
So it's like, why? There's no explanation for that. Like fog just travels. It's fog. It just does its thing. And
Unless something blocks it and it changes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it still, and it's also like we don't know how ghosts interact and like manipulate actual physical objects. Like that is like right then and there, like something that is out of this fucking world.
I think one of the like crazier things, like talking about like that type of thing, like how do they physically manipulate stuff? Ghost Bros showed us this video that they captured of footprints coming out of a puddle that didn't meet any of their,
but like the thing was that when they manifested
barefoot.
to it in the water, it like left a dry spot in the puddle, and then when they stepped out, there was water there. How the fuck does that happen?
It is.
And it's like you think you'd be scared when these things happen, but when things like that happen to us, we kind of just laugh. I don't know why.
I feel
Because it's like unbelievable that it's happening.
We're pretty much the same way. We almost just like get caught in this like dude, what?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
what? How does this happen right now? Like, I know this wouldn't happen on my normal day to day unless I'm looking for ghosts. That's the only way this would happen.
It's like that reminded me of like the puddle thing. Remember my mom sent us that video? So my mom is a full believer. My dad, on the other hand, no. It's like, I don't believe in it, even though he can like show him like our videos, and he's like, oh well, maybe. It's like, no, we tried everything. There's nothing that we can do to like have a logical explanation for this. But there was this photo that my mother had sent me. They had recently moved into this new home in Delaware, and it's like in the middle of the woods, so it's not like people are just walking up and down the street and, you know, saying hello to their new neighbors. They found like one footprint, like wet footprint, like near their front door of like a grown, it was like definitely bigger than my mother's foot, so it could have been like the size of like a big dude's foot, and no explanation for it whatsoever. And like, that's creepy in itself if that was like an actual person, but it's like, it was just one, so it didn't make sense at all.
Yeah, that's freaking wild. That doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a story that me and Trevor have that's actually kind of crazy and involves footsteps, since we're on this topic, I guess. We were sitting here literally recording a podcast episode back when it was just me and him, and we didn't do these lives. And we heard somebody, it was snowing outside. We heard somebody walk past my window right here in the snow. And we're like, it's just woods behind my house, like, and then I have my neighbor right next, but like, it's just woods there, and there shouldn't be anyone walking through there because it's all private property. And after we were done recording, I'm like, dude, we gotta go figure out if someone walked through my yard, like, because now it's actually worrying me that like someone might be like looking through my windows at night or something. And we go out there and there's no footprints in the snow whatsoever, and it didn't snow enough to cover them up or anything. Like, it was a lot of snow out there. You would have seen someone's footprints walk through, and there was no footprints. But it sounded like they were like 5 feet from my window.
Jesus. Oh, like one creepy, that reminds me of the same thing. Like my parents, their like property surrounded by woods, so there's no explanation as to why they heard this, but it was like around 2-3 in the morning, and they heard like chains, like just chains being dragged across, like next to their window essentially. And my dad heard it too, but no explanation for it. They looked outside, nothing. There was nothing to explain as to why they would hear something like that. And that's creepy as hell. I'm like, you guys need to get cameras, trail cams or something, because that's creepy. But they don't have like the best internet, so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And those dudes, that wasn't on an investigation. We were recording like an early episode of the podcast. I was telling them about the footprints that we heard in the snow. And then there was
Oh
no
yeah,
footprints
outside
out
the
there.
window. It fucking, that was wild as shit. It was in one of our breaks because we were ridiculous and we thought we had to like nitpick super hard instead of just be completely fine with like little fuck ups.
I get that.
But yeah, it was creepy as shit because his window is like, I can't even get in the frame. It's probably like
It's a
probably
pretty
about
big
that
window.
Yeah. You know, like almost a full wingspan. So like you could see out of it, and he doesn't have any blinds on it. Like it's just sitting open, you know, and we hear crunch, 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 crunch. And we're like, who the fuck's walking outside next to his house? Like, you know, like no explanation. Like, look at it. There is nothing. Not a single footprint, nothing out there. And it's like, I didn't just hear that. And I'm sitting next to the window. Like, I'm the one next to the window.
It was loud. Like, it sounded like someone was about to like do the classic like horror movie, like into the window.
Yeah,
you know,
or like
face
you
into
know,
the-
like just start
like, that's what
peeping
it
because like
sounded like. It was crazy.
we had all the lights on, you know, like we're sitting in there, like we're reading it. Probably, I think we were reading a story, so we were both like,
Yeah. It was like, it was actually during like prep. We weren't even, I don't remember if we were in a break or if it was prepping for the next segment. I forget that detail. But I
also
honestly, I
can't
wish we
breathe.
would have been recording at the time because our mics most likely would have picked it up. And it was, yeah.
It was incredibly wild.
Like, again,
Tell
don't know
you
if it was
what.
paranormal or not. It could have been someone further away that we just heard, it sounded closer, but it was super creepy.
Right.
And we can't explain it really at this point.
Just something you don't have an explanation for. Just like that, the chains that they heard, like no explanation for that.
No.
Have
Yeah,
you
like,
guys
what
ever
is
heard
that?
anything like a physical, not like in physical form, but like a disembodied footsteps right there next to you?
Yeah, actually, when we did our haunted forest video, we caught footsteps running up to us on the trail. Like we were all standing in basically a triangle because we were talking about my shirt because we kept getting the word oracle and I was wearing an oracle.
And he was putting his hoodie back on, so he had no eyes. And all of a sudden, you hear punk, 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 punk.
No.
So yeah, we've
And
definitely
it
heard
doesn't
that
pick
before.
it up as great as I'd like it to, you know, like
Mhm.
mic wise. But like me, Riley, and Chase, like we're standing in like probably 5 feet of each other, like relative. Like Chase was the farthest away, and he still heard it. I was right next to Riley, like on his like what would that be like? Your
it was-
7 o'clock or whatever,
Yeah, pretty close to that.
something like that. And it's like like I really thought somebody was just running down the trail, and we're all right here. Like, what is happening?
Right, and it's like, how do you explain that? There's no way to explain it. We caught footsteps in. It was in a different building in Mid Orange. It wasn't the main building. It was right behind us. Do you remember? The lights were like going on and off when we turned around, but it was right behind us, and you hear like it was almost like if you hear like boots kind of just sticking and then like unsticking from the floor and stepping again. It was just
Yeah, it's not
creepy.
like you get like the full like scuff sound that you would when
Right.
somebody's like full on sprinting. Because that's kind of how
Right.
it felt for me, where it's like you heard like the impact and like
Mhm.
that gravel sound, but you didn't hear anything else.
Ugh.
Like what?
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is that? Why is it doing that? Can you
You
do
give
it
me
again on something
quite
you
a
can
fright,
see?
friend.
Yeah, it was actually kind of
The
like,
fucked
I
up
was a
part
little
is
bit
though, like
spooked.
we literally kind of just went, yeah, just footsteps. So like, what should we ask questions right
You're
here?
right.
And like, we didn't even fucking react to it really. Like we did, but we didn't get scared or anything, which I thought
Right.
like was kind of crazy because like I didn't think it
We're
was as
so
loud as it
poised that we were
was.
so poised that night though, honestly.
Stuff
Like
was happening, and
we
we
were
were
just
just
like
fine with
so
it.
like for us, I just know we enter this like whole new mindset when we're like filming for an
When stuff
investigation.
really starts like happening, though, it's like we do go into like full on like expert mode, engage.
It's different when things
It's-
happen.
Yeah, because when you watch
Mhm.
it behind the screen, you're like, oh, I probably would have ran out of there. But when you're like in the moment, when you're there, it's so different because you're like, I want to ask more questions, but this is kind of scary. But like, I want to ask more questions.
Yeah,
Like
like
when we
I
heard
said the other
footsteps-
night, dude.
Yeah.
Hoodie up, like
Yeah.
When we heard the footstep, it's like, did you hear that? Yeah. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
footsteps
okay.
are the craziest thing ever. So those dweebs is the only person. They're always in the chat. They were the only people watching my TikTok live when this happened at the
It's
poorhouse.
weird.
I stepped into this room and the first thing I literally said to them was, I don't feel alone in here. I was like,
Yeah.
if I'm not alone in here, make a noise. And I felt a footstep on the same wooden plank that I was standing on. Like I felt the vibration through it. I heard it. They heard it. And I was like, no, I think we're going to a different room. Like,
We're gonna go find Trevor.
We're not going to be in here right now.
Let's go find our good friend who's doing whatever.
That was like that one room with the kids' toys in Rolling Hills, where it's like we saw the thing over the. It was like it was a smaller room. There was only one entrance, and I was playing the xylophone, and you remember, and what was it that was going up? Was it our EMF detector that was going up and down? I think it was our EMF detector. I don't even think I posted this. I think it's just something that's in my camera roll that
It's just deep in the pockets.
yeah, that I just haven't thought of. But yeah, it was the EMF detector was going, higher and lower, goes up to red and whatnot, and the numbers kind of fluctuated a little bit. But it was like after like I played, it was like kid tones essentially.
Yeah.
Because it was a poorhouse as well, so
Right.
there were kids there at a certain point in time. But yeah, we heard like things. Oh, when we went to the cathedral too at Rolling Hills, or the chapel, the chapel room, where it's like we were asking questions, and then we'd hear like a little like movement at the end of the room, and then as soon as we went to that end of the room, we heard movement coming from the
On the
opposite
other side.
that we came from. Yeah.
It's like tag.
Yeah.
But in that one room, we heard it like right behind us.
Yeah, in that one room with the toys, the room
Mhm.
is small and it was pretty much filled with toys. The movement that we heard was right behind us, so it's like it's like, whoa,
Like,
okay.
hold
Yeah.
the fuck on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Like, give me some time to like react. What the hell was that?
Yeah, loud bangs and stuff like that really
They always get me.
they spark something in you. You're like your heart starts
Does
racing.
it jump
like,
scare you though more, or does it like get you to like want to go investigate harder? Because like to me, like I always thought I was gonna get jump scared out of my pants and then like completely go crying home, poop everywhere. You know, like it's awful. Like that trope, you know, like, but no, like every time it's happened so far, it's like we got to find out where that came from, why it happened, and how it happened. And if we can't find a single reason, then it's like I am convinced that we just had paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we had the bangs that were coming from, it was each direction of the room. It like made no sense, and they were loud. And the one question that you asked, it was almost as if it was a child. It could have been a child, but it also could have been somebody who was in prison there. But what was the question?
I think
you
I was
asked?
like, is it past your bedtime or something?
Yeah, is it past
The
your bedtime?
flashlight got like really bright, and then you heard a bang.
And it was a loud bang. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck
Like,
are you
how
telling
dare
me?
you ask me if it's past
It's
my
my
Yeah, and I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's everything in there is probably metal. So
Mhm.
it's like, you know,
Yeah.
like it could have been anybody just fucking smacking on anything, which we still don't know how they manifest, which is fucking incredibly crazy.
Exactly. But it wasn't like we were scared. You would think you'd be scared hearing those bangs coming from each corner of the room and you don't know where it's coming from, nor do you see what's causing it. But it's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's ask more things.
I
Like,
think in the video, I remember you going, "No way."
yeah.
No.
I was like, no freaking
That's
way.
how I feel every time something happens. Like, I cannot fucking believe something just happened, dude. Like, I didn't think anything was gonna happen tonight, but here we are.
yeah.
Right.
Have
That
you
was
have you encountered an attachment of sorts, or like encountered a spirit that you met at one place and then they
Another
came through at
investigation
another
pops up
like
again.
another spot, or like
Thank
done an
goodness.
investigation and had stuff happen at home days later at all?
Thank goodness, no. I was looking for wood to like knock on, but I'm like, thank goodness, so far, no.
I got you.
But yeah, no. It just reminded me of like the moment of when we were in one of the cells, and I thought I wasn't recording because we
Yeah.
had just popped into the room. We were gonna like start an EVP session,
Mm.
and we heard a loud exhale, and I was like, "Did you hear that?" Like, I'm like, I thought I wasn't recording, so I'm like, "You heard that, right?" And nobody's mouth.
I
was
heard that.
an exhale.
Yeah.
But yeah, mind blowing. But yes, no attachments. Knocking on wood. How about you guys? Have you guys ever? Oh,
We've had a
Well,
couple.
here's
We've had a
the
lot of
kicker here.
experiences.
For the longest time, I was not so sure on attachments.
Mm-mm.
Not so sure on it at all. But as of
I'm
recently, I'm thinking we do have an attachment. It's not
Mhm.
negative at all. It's a
I
little
think we
child
had a
spirit.
negative one at one point.
Yeah, but I think it's gone now. But
do you have any like things you guys do before you go into investigations and after
No.
you leave? Kind of like a okay.
We used to say you can't follow us, but we always forgot. So now we just don't.
Oh my god.
Be in the car driving away. Oh shoot! Please don't follow us.
Yeah. literally.
Kinda. That's usually what happens, but it's probably already too late by then. And then realistically, I was like, words aren't gonna stop a fucking ghost.
right, if they want to follow you, they're gonna follow you. It's
Right.
just-
They're
Like, the fuck am I gonna do?
like, who the hell are you to be telling me where I can go?
yeah,
Like me
I'm
and Riley
dead.
though have had the crazy experience though of when we did the Native American burial ground that we did, and it's our like Indian burial ground video. It was fucking incredible how he had this dream that he called me one day after work, and he was telling me about it, and I was like, "You stop right fucking there, dog. I had that same dream like 2 weeks ago, but it was a dream, and I wasn't gonna say anything
And then
because
I
it
said,
was a fucking dream."
"That's crazy," because this dream was like 2 weeks ago. And
Yeah,
I've
so
just been
like
thinking about it. He's like, "Was it the night we worked on the video?" And I'm like, "It was the night we worked on the video." And we're like, "How the fuck did we have the same dream at the same time?"
yeah, and we
But,
both
But like
saw
they're
like the same
different.
shit.
At the same
but,
time, they
yeah,
were
but like
just a
different
tad different.
perspectives.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
like
you
we
were
both
you in
saw
the Just the other end of it.
Yeah, and like we both like because like I explained how I saw like in the video when I was like we were watching it back during the actual like release of that video. We were like in a call together so we could talk, and I was like this part right here, and he goes, "Shut up," because that was the part in my dream that I like of the cemetery where I saw this figure like that was like big and fucking canine
It's a
like, but
really
like not
creepy scene
canine
of
like.
it's like it's so
It was a
fitting for
horror
something
movie.
creepy to happen in because the scene is just like it's this woodsy cemetery with big trees and hills and old cemetery, gravestones, and all you see is a flashlight like going through the darkness with illuminating everything, and it's like
Yeah.
a terrifying image. And then all of a sudden in the dream, like this light hits the spot and there's a creature standing in it. And in my dream, it charged me.
Yeah, and
I forget
I think
yours.
I was standing in a different perspective, and it was like running towards, like out of my vision, and it's like, what the fuck?
Dreams are creepy.
It's wild.
Just don't make sense. Mine is just weird.
Yeah, and then this recent video that comes out tomorrow
Mhm.
is how all of that attachment gets linked and how we kind of figured out who the spirit that because we thought this was happening. We thought it was because of these dreams and these weird things. But then it said the little girl's name, Mildred, at the tattoo shop when we were sitting in the middle of what's believed to be a portal.
Yep, because of what they had happened. Like that intro clip got a little smushed by the formatting, but like in the video tomorrow, there's a full clip from one of our good friends that works at the tattoo shop. Her name's Lindsay, where she has it like it's literally a CCTV footage camera that will click on when it gets motion. And it looks like a lady is like kneeling down well after hours. Nobody should be there. It's all locked up. And like bowing at this wall that has sacred geometry in it and has like other artifacts and crystals and stuff. And like we have no explanation for why it happened, how it happened, and they didn't stage it. It's a tattoo shop. They don't want people in there like biohazard, like level 10 if they're gonna go touch shit. Like they're gonna get shut down so quick. You don't want that. And the building itself has multiple different businesses in it, so it's locked really tight. So there's a front door. They're on the 3rd floor, so you have to
But
make it all the way up the
like
stairs too.
go
Anyway,
through a door that goes into the stairwell and go up the stairs, and then there's another door to get into the tattoo shop. So there's 2 doors you got to get through to
so
even
there's
get up there.
like 2 layers of security. Plus, like you'd probably end up just going into one of the lower levels because if you're gonna steal something, you don't want to be so far away to get down.
Right.
Because you'll die on that 3rd floor coming out, dog. Sorry, like it's a far drop.
So is that wall? Did you say they had like antique items on that wall?
Yeah,
that they found in the
the story is
attic.
crazy. Yeah,
They found artifacts in the attic from the Prohibition era, and there was like a
It used to be
room
a
up
brothel.
there. Yeah, it's crazy. We don't honestly touch as much on the history as I kind of think we should have, but it's really there isn't much.
Kept it short and sweet.
Yeah, there isn't too much when you go and look.
It was
into
abandoned for a while. It was a
Yeah,
couple of different
It was
things.
abandoned for the last 30 years. So 3 decades.
What?
God.
It's
Yeah, it was a
it's an
jazz
interesting
club.
story though. It was a hotel. It was a jazz club. It was during the Prohibition era. It was a gambling hall and brothel.
Yep.
It was a bunch
And
of
then
different
we
things.
think one of the ladies had a kid and kept him upstairs.
Yeah, so that's kind of the belief from the people at the tattoo shop is that there was,
It's still
prostitute's
very
kid
crazy that they decided to
up
just like,
there.
let's take that stuff that we found in the attic that shouldn't have been an attic because there shouldn't have been a room up there, and let's just put it in the walls.
So weird.
Because
Like,
fuck yeah, you guys.
Yeah.
That is weird.
I mean, they're awesome people. Like oddities, antiques, knickknacks, stuff like that. Like it's all over the shop. Like
The tattoo
that
shop
place is
freaking
so fucking
sweet.
cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, like they did it right. And every stall that somebody else has that in that shop, like they have their own twist on it, but like they all nailed the aesthetic of what a tattoo shop should be. And I was so happy. And the craziest part was, like, because you think, oh, we're in, say, like a Walmart or like a store or something, but nothing's gonna happen. But then you catch a bunch of really fucked up shit, and you're like, Yeah, I didn't expect this. Not even a little bit.
Are you saying a Walmart
A
investigation needs to be
haunted
done?
Walmart. No, if we can get one that's like shut down, if there's not a fuck ton of people around that would like completely ruin all the evidence that you would be getting, because it'd be probably like, hello, it's this, and then start fucking with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, realistic, because I'm not saying everybody in public is stupid, but I've seen enough people in Walmart that make me wonder how many chromosomes they have. It's like, whoa, doggy, slow down there, Buttercup. Like, you're 2 whiskeys away from being a straight shooter.
They're just folks that make you question things, and it's like,
Yeah.
why are you doing this now in public?
I mean, I'm still on that train where it's like, people are real monsters, man. Like, if you want to say demons are real, I would say that people are the real demons. Like,
Yeah.
all day long, I would be more scared of an entity that's just a dark, malevolent man or woman that just killed people than I would a. I still have not yet to be proven if it's real or real not yet. Like, like, but people are real and spirits are real. I can prove that one. I have evidence to show it.
I think the like demon thing is like a bit overplayed.
It's so over. It's such. It makes me sad that like when you hear that, it's synonymous with ghosts, because it makes me go like it's not like a religious thing, because everybody can have their own beliefs. It's a spiritual thing for sure. Like ghosts are a spiritual thing. You have to have your own spiritual beliefs to believe in ghosts for sure. But when does it become like the church's problem? Like the Vatican owns demons, so like why are we thinking demons here?
Right, all spiritual things are demons, and it's like if there's good,
No.
if there's bad, there has to be good. So it's like why lump just this one idea of something into everything when it's like, okay, tell me why would the demon tell me that they like the color purple on my
Mm.
EV? Why waste
Yeah.
the time to tell me that?
I
You know?
also think that the whole like demons pretend they're children thing is so kind of messed up, because what if you actually are talking to a little kid and the whole time you're just be like, you're a demon, like you're calling a spirit who is like, 6, 7 years old, we'll say, a demon, when they're from like potentially like the 1800s, where the whole religious beliefs were so much different than they are now.
Yeah.
Almost everyone was like reading the Bible on Sundays and going to church, and like it was a huge community thing. And like Salem witch trials, for for instance.
Oh God.
You're gonna tell me a little kid back then didn't know about the Salem witch trials and what happened to those people, and then you go in there calling
People were
girl a demon?
burned at the stake because of words. That's a sketchy time to live.
Yeah, like literally people were saying, I seen them sitting in a circle talking gibberish, and then they'd hang them, burn them. It's like, it
Like,
was savage.
no.
Highly
That's
recommend going to.
crazy.
Have you guys visited Salem before?
Mm-mm.
No, I've never been there.
We've really only investigated like Ohio and Indiana now.
Yeah, I really haven't. I've been to a lot of places, but I have not been to the East Coast much. So, like, that's I've been to a lot of the Midwest.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Midwest. But I will say we're kind of spoiled in the Midwest, because there's a lot of really big, well-known places around here that are really fucking wild, and like even like some of the locations that are a lot more close to us than I thought they were, that are like I can't explain what some of our buddies are putting out, and like those dweebs in particular too. Their Olympia book video. It's like,
Right.
didn't know that was like 2-hour drive from here. It's not that bad. And they had some cool evidence. Our buddy Tommy and Randy both have been there, and they said go there. And that's where our good friend Randy caught a full body apparition going through the books. Like, it's like stuff like that where it's like, oh, that's happening around us. And I mean, realistically, it's probably happening in everybody's town. Like, I realistically think if you live in a small town, or like a town that has a lot of like good history that they've kept well, or the
bad
buildings
history.
or bad history. I mean, it doesn't have to always be good, I guess. It doesn't have to always be bad either. But if the buildings are original and they've done a good job of not letting them just completely rot, and the people are, like open to like if they're historical. I'm not saying like just go to people's houses and be like, can I come investigate your house?
Investigate your house.
Yeah, I mean, both of us just talked about it with our good friend Eric last night on his show, where it's like the Unseen Paranormal podcast. Fucking awesome, love that show. Shout out my boy. But we both said, I don't feel really great about it because it's invading somebody's sanctum, man. Like it just feels awkward because then if there is stuff too, like on the off chance that something dark is there, it's like how do you tell them like I can't get rid of it? Like there's no guaranteeing that you're like I guess safe now because I don't know what it's capable of.
Thing too for me is like, say you do go into someone's house and they're saying there's a demon in there and it's super evil and it's hurting them. And they want you to come in and help them. Nobody knows how to help anyone that's going through that. And like Eric kind of put it into this perspective too. Like a lot of people that do have serious mental health issues think that demons are talking to them and things like that.
That's the other thing.
So then how do you handle that situation if that actually turns out being the case? Because then there is like, obviously there's only one way to help them and that's not the answer.
And that's to get help and not everybody wants to get help. So
You can't help somebody that doesn't want help.
Yeah, the sad reality of it.
It's just like that's just the hard part. That's why I'll kind of stick to, you know, the historical landmarks and things like that because for one, you don't have to worry about invading someone's privacy or putting their life out there on display.
I like public domain.
Yeah,
like the free shit's nice.
It's just the tough part.
We're not trained for this. That's the big dog stuff that we
Because
don't
I can't go into someone's house saying, "Oh yeah, like your house is haunted," and they're like, "Okay, well, what do you do about it?" I don't know. Dude. Live with them, I guess. Like, talk to them.
Like I can
Like,
confirm.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, we have evidence. We caught it. We believe you, but
All right, I'll see you later. Like I did my job.
Johnny. His name's Johnny. He likes fire trucks.
And then they're gonna be like, "You just exploited me for your YouTube gains," and it's like, no, I'm showing off what we caught because you told me to come investigate your residence, and it's like, oh my god, that fiasco that I just don't want to deal with. That and this is all hypothetical because this is not happening to us. But it's like that sounds like a live hand grenade that just doesn't want to be handled by me.
Yeah, we've only done one private investigation.
And it was really interesting. And
it was
good thing Riley knew him really well, but I didn't know him at all. And I was like, I feel really weird.
He had lived in this house for a little while, and he didn't have stuff happening until his grandfather died, and he brought some of his grandfather's like relics into the house. And then stuff started happening around the house. And we investigated for a while without the relics. And nothing, EMFs weren't going off. We were getting nothing on the spirit box. We brought them out, and then
we thought it was full of shit.
But yeah, that was interesting. That is available, but it's not available to watch. You can only listen to it. It's like we did a live investigation as a podcast. It
was interesting. I don't think we did a great job. I didn't listen to that episode. There's some I just skipped right over because I was like, we need to put something out. And I thought it was a good idea at the time, but now that we've done so many of them and that we've like honed the craft so good, it's like, ooh, shit, missed the mark. Might have to go back and like make a smudge on that one and like, you know, throw like a new old episode in, but like a new one that we do like now and then like make it so it's old. Like, I don't even know.
I feel like you also see your growth too. It's like
100%.
You know, you learn from it, and then you're kind of like you look back at it like I don't like that how it came out, but like now it's like okay, I see where I came from. You know,
the funniest thing is like even just like how we look too. Like from when we started doing the YouTube, like I've gained like more like crazy piercings in my face and tattoos. So it's like I just realistically look different, but like just the way that we've started filming, the way that the audio and the quality of the video looks, like the style that we decided to go with when we start editing it and like changing, you know, like some of the contrast to make it easier to see things. It's totally like unique to everybody, and that's what I love about seeing everybody that puts out creations that are just like works of art, because that's really what it is. Like you guys do a great job
your
on
TikTok is crazy. Like those videos,
it's popping. Like I love watching those videos.
I just found your TikTok today, but I imagine both of them are on Instagram and TikTok because that's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, killing
Yeah,
it.
I fell into a hole for like a good 15 minutes while I was hiding in the bathroom, and I was like, "Damn, son." And then I tried to find you on YouTube, and I was like, "Why do you guys not do YouTube?"
It's a lot of work. I don't know how you guys
Yes, it
do
is.
it.
It's so
I
much
don't know how you
fucking
guys
work.
do it. It's a lot of work, but no, we appreciate it. Thank you for checking out the videos.
Of course.
But yeah, no, it's just for us. It's like we want to put the like real stuff out there, not the just
Right.
put on and the bullshit with all the all the crap that people.
Yeah, it's just like we always say, like it's not a competition. Like we want everybody to win.
No.
Like if
Right.
anything, like I just want to see what other people got to offer, man. Like we've caused some compelling shit, but like I don't think enough people have seen it. But whatever.
Yeah,
like, just because our channel doesn't go like boom crazy numbers, like doesn't mean that like the growth that we've seen isn't steady and reliable, and it's still crazy.
See, like for me, sometimes it's like I don't necessarily care that it's like how many views we get, but like if we capture something dope, like I want everyone to see it. You know what I mean?
Exactly where we're
Yeah, I get way too excited about it.
Because like I'm excited about what I captured, or like if we have someone on and they showcase something that they caught that's awesome. Like we have had many guests throw up their evidence. We could even run onto your TikTok if we want
and play some reels,
show off some videos for you guys. But like people have showed us some insane stuff, and we're like, I'm so glad you showed us that, because like
Gen Z is a good one where he hadn't released his UFO video that he caught because he'd shown a few people and they said it's too good to be true. There's no way it's real. And he showed us some of the most credible UFO evidence I've ever seen. And like when you see it in 4K and zoomed in and not in 720p on StreamYard, it's fucking incredibly like you can like it's incredible evidence.
Yeah, and you're like, no, please post it. Like post it.
Yeah, and he literally was just like, oh yeah, I saw a UFO and I have a video of it. I'll airdrop it to you. What? Like, sir, what?
Yeah, no, it's like for us, it's like we want to just put out what we've caught that we thought is cool, stuff that we can't explain, stuff that we try our best to disprove, and there's no logical explanation for it, but like just that there is something more to this life, there's
there has
things
to
you
be.
can't explain,
There's no way that there isn't something after this. Like this life isn't just like end and then there's nothing. I don't believe that, especially with all the evidence that we see.
Right.
Something happens. I don't know what it is, but there's something.
There's some type of transcendence or transition to some type of
and,
reality
I'm
or
starting to believe that
plane.
you can come and go as you please. Like we've encountered some spirits that have like kind of told us some stuff. It's through Spirit Talker, so take it for what it is. But like they've kind
It's
of
a credible tool. I'll die on that hill.
It is credible, but everyone has their own opinions on the apps, and we get that. But like it's kind of in multiple investigations, like spirits have kind of told us like they're free to go, and like they come to check out things kind of, and like make sure that nothing's bad to like, for instance, our Hardened Forest, like Ludwig was there because he was making sure that his like property lived up to what he always wanted it to be, and that was a park.
Yeah. And then we asked him to stick around with us, and he did. And it's like, I 1 billion times 10 times billion. The numbers that don't make sense, because why not? Believe that there's certain spirits that once they cross over, they're intelligent enough to like figure out how to manipulate our devices that do come and go as they please, because he basically confirmed that on that investigation for us too.
Right.
Where it's like, I don't think everything that we see is intelligent. Like if we have like a residual haunting, say like you get answers in a location every time in the dining room. Well, it seems like it's an intelligent spirit, but that's the only place you get any responses and the same type of responses. So like there is a residual spirit haunting that, but giving you intelligent responses, but it's just residually there. Probably not somebody's full-on spirit, if you ask me.
Speaking of residual hauntings, what do you guys think about like limestone being some type of like?
Oh,
I think 100% has something to
that
do
type
with
of
it.
thing all
Water.
intertwines, and like the
Yeah,
connection
water's
to
an
water
energy thing.
or like whatever the building is made out of, like the materials or like even
Yeah,
the
like
like
crystals,
materials of the
stones,
earth
all of it.
around the building. Because
Right.
I believe a lot of times these great haunted places get torn down and they just become an open field. Like it's happened time and time again. It's sad, but it happens.
It
People
do
can't
happen.
maintain them, they become unsafe. It's whatever.
Fire hazards.
But I believe that if you were to even go investigate that open field, you would get the same type of activity.
Probably, yeah.
And like I believe to the point where you would catch like disembodied like imprints of the building. So
Yeah,
like,
like
noises
building
inside of the
sounds.
building. Like you could capture that stuff. I totally believe that that's possible because when you tear it down, pieces of the brick or whatever are going to fall into the earth and get
Yeah, it's gonna get
meshed
implanted.
into it. All that energy, like it can't just disappear. Like it's going to be there. It's in people's memories. It's in people's minds when they drive by. Like, oh yeah, that building used to be there. They're visually seeing that building, even though it's not there. In their head, they know it is. So like, I think that has a lot to do with it too. Like when we're going into these places, we know the history a lot of times, or we explain the history prior, and we're constantly like imagining these scenarios and stories in our head, which is manifesting the spiritual energy that's inside of the building. Like that's feel like it's all way more connected than what anyone really thinks it is. Like we have so much power inside of our minds.
Right.
It's wild. Like we can manifest these things. Not necessarily like everything that happens as paranormal is like a manifestation. Like in a sense it is, because what do we say when a spirit shows up? That it manifests itself. So
Right.
wordplay.
Kind of reminds me of like the Mandela effect.
Dude, it fucks me up though, for real,
Yeah.
when it happens where it's like, no, you're lying to me.
Yeah.
The monocle on the Monopoly board.
Oh no. The
Dude,
most
yeah, no, that's most definitely the one that got me the hardest, where I was like, that can't, like, what? Wait.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he has it. What are you talking about? And then it's like, no, look, this is, the Monopoly board now. No monocle.
Like mine was Bob Barker. I swear he died like twice already. Happened again. I'm like, why does this keep happening? And if you look,
Why
at
do
it,
I keep
other
seeing this?
people think the same thing.
It was like 3 times.
And I remember saying it to you
Yeah.
like the first time, and then the second.
You were like,
time,
I
I'm
thought he died
again.
already.
Yeah.
How do you die 3 times?
Trevor's Googling it. He's like, is he dead?
No, I know he died.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
It's
where
like
the
Tupac.
Monopoly came from. Yeah.
Tupac and Biggie, they ain't dead.
Dude, that's the crazy thing though, is conspiracies are so fun, but like there's some really, really crazy ones that I believe, honestly. Like our fucking Secret Service shot JFK. That's really not that out of the realm of possibilities at all.
Well, you think about all the ones that, like the recent
You're right.
stuff that they make declassified.
Oh.
And then it's like,
Aliens?
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
FBI killed Marilyn Monroe.
Aliens and what else? The MK Ultra, is that something that they've like made declassified or whatnot?
What?
But like stuff with like consciousness that they've just made declassified and that you can read on the CIA website and stuff like that. And
Oh, I don't know about that.
oh my gosh, look into it. It's just
I heard about it a little
wild.
bit, but I haven't done any type of looking.
I'm pretty sure they talk about like astral projection and stuff.
Oh,
I love
see,
that.
I love that shit. Like, I've talked about it before on the podcast, but when I was in high school, I found out what lucid dreaming was, and I got like super deep into it and was like researching it. I was like borderline
when it
obsessed with
happens,
it.
it's fucking crazy.
And I actually got it to happen one time. It's the only time I ever had it happen in my life. It was one of the most intense feelings I've ever had.
Because you get full
like,
control,
asleep.
dude. You get the keys to the fucking kingdom, where it's like,
It was
what?
wild. It was it was
fuck?
terrifying, but like exciting, and I just never really tried it again. Even though I still have my key and everything hidden, I know exactly where my key is, just in case it was to happen to me again without trying. Like I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck.
So I take it you're probably like, you believe that people could do those types of, like, I guess they're like kind of like mind tricks a little bit, but like opening of the like third eye, essentially.
Pineal gland and whatnot, and how it's calcified and whatnot. I think why not? There's just too many things that we can't explain. What about you? Do you? I don't think I ever asked you.
Well, I don't know.
It's something I'm like uncultured as fuck in.
Cause like the remote viewing.
Oh yeah,
and
like remote viewing to me is so wild and mind blowing.
Right, like when it actually works, like it's pretty fucking crazy. Like I've seen people do it in front of me, and I was like, haha, good bullshit. Like I don't.
It was
believe
like
it.
2 weeks ago. We were at Applebee's. And we're like, okay, let's try the remote view. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And it was like the quick draw screen was like popping up numbers. I'm like 35. Literally, the next number that came up was 35. We were just like,
like the fuck.
Maybe it was a coincidence, but
it's like there's too many things that like synchronize that it can't be a coincidence. There's this woman, and her name evades me, but she does like a training, and it's like a free, I think like a 3-day course, and you get the videos, and you do the practices yourself, and you try it out, and you do whatever like trainings in between that she assigns you, your little homework, so to speak, and yeah, you do your own thing. And then I tried it. It was like a 3-day thing. I tried it, and it was super freaking weird because I described exactly what it was just by doing those 3 days. But then it's like you have to pay for other videos, but it's like,
and I don't want to pay.
I don't want to pay. I don't have that much money.
Nope, neither.
See, like I think like exploring those types of things though are so beneficial for you when you're a paranormal investigator, because like any way you can make your mind more open to things, like I think you're gonna, I guess like we've talked about this before, but like I guess I don't know how Trevor feels about it, but I think everyone has the ability to be an empathic spiritual being.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The ability to
it's
allow
like a muscle.
Other people's emotions to be imprinted on you and things like that. Like I think that's 100% a real thing. And like anytime I go into an investigation, like I try to be as spiritually open to everything around me as I possibly can. Like I'm willing to accept like anything that wants to present itself to me. I don't know what'll happen if I do encounter something extremely dark or negative, but I have faith in myself that I can ward it off in whatever way. So like I'm confident there. But like I feel like if you're not willing to be that way, you're not going to have paranormal experiences. And that's why a lot of skeptics don't have anything happen when they go for a ghost hunt. It's because they're not willing to accept the supernatural.
Yeah, they just don't have that other like the view on it. Because like you gotta I think about it like this too, where it's like they're people. Like if you go in with a negative energy, like people are going to feel that. Like you can't walk into a room all doom and gloom and not have people notice. Like, and I feel like you give off that spiritual pressure, you know?
Yeah.
We went to Hinsdale. There was this guy that was like the skeptic, the only skeptic out of everyone there, but yet he was the first one to leave.
It was after we came back from the woods too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was recording too. He was literally his back was facing the wall, sitting down on one of the chairs, and he's recording. And this is just us noticing off the blue. He like turns around real quick and touches his ear.
Oh,
you could kind of see him go like, "What the fuck?"
like that didn't just happen.
Yeah, and then he's like recording, and somebody next to him goes, "Are you good? Like, what happened?" He's like, "I felt like somebody flicked my ear." And
his ear wasn't his ear red?
Yeah, and it was red. So Hinsdale House is a whole nother energy for sure compared to like Mid Orange, Rolling Hills, all the places that we visited. It's one of those places that, I mean, like, I feel like with every location, you should have your guard up. Like, yes, to communicate and connect, but also have that guard up just because you never know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
See, we kind of have this feeling that, like, when we went to the Asher Walton house, like, something negative did come into the house. But we think that the more dominant spirits that, like, Asher Walton himself,
the homeowner,
like shoot it away from us, like protected us.
Mm-hmm.
Just based off of the like spirit
The
box
evidence that happened right at that point in
responses
time.
that we got, we don't know if
Mhm.
that's actually what happened. That's our total
We
speculation.
drew the conclusion ourselves, so by all means, if you want to tear it apart, tear it apart. But like it's such a weird coincidence. I love that word when you're talking about paranormal because it's like it can't, not all of it can be. You can
Right.
probably say some of it is, but not all of it is.
Right. There's like too many things that you can't explain that doesn't make sense and just goes along with whatever is happening at the moment. Whatever question you're asking makes sense for that and whatnot. But
It's seriously like so like validating too when you get those type of responses too,
mm-hmm.
because like once again I'm going to use the word coincidence because like the radio isn't going to line up that properly
Right.
every time. It's not going to say it over multiple sweeps of a radio
Right.
station to another radio station. So like when you get back to back words where it's speaking something to you, it's like, nah, that's not fake either. Like I'm not faking it. And then if you take human element out of it too, where it's like if you just record straight up the S box session itself, like say because we do the S box where we put the microchip in it or the
Mm-hmm.
micro SD. I can't even fucking talk today. And then record the session when they're asking the questions, and you try to line it up as close as you can. It's like, yeah, that's pretty crazy when you do hear like the voices that do fall in between the sweeps that are long. Like it's what the fuck.
Right. Or it's like a consistent voice that keeps coming
Yeah,
through.
that continuously comes
Right,
through. Like
and
that
it's
does
on-
not happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen if you're running through, I think it does like 3 to 6 stations
Mm-hmm.
per whatever.
Yeah, like every 2 seconds or something.
Like you
That is-
shouldn't be like you can. There are stations that they project over multiple radio stations.
Yeah, you'll hear like blips of radio
But
if you don't take your
you can
antenna
hear
out.
the difference. Like you really can in
Yeah,
a radio voice and something that doesn't sound like it came from the radio.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
like it's one deep, really deep voice, and you're like,
Have you guys ever
Like-
experienced like the spirit box like getting louder than what the like normal like speaker can, and like getting like really loud?
No,
think
not
so.
necessarily louder, but like responses that are to what we were asking at that point in time. That was this one time where also like fire seems to be like one of, water, fire and whatnot. But
Yeah, the elements.
yeah. But it was like we were outside campfire in her mom's backyard, and her mom was there and like other family members and of course the team.
Mm.
And her aunt was like, I'm scared, like just flat out, I'm scared. And the voice that came out was a male's voice that said, I'm Mr. Fear. Like right after that. And
That's
her
fucking
face-
scary.
Yeah, it's on our TikTok and Instagram. But you see her face after was like, like she was like, I don't
No.
want to do this.
if you could mock that scared,
The emoji,
Yeah,
like the
that's
scared
her
emoji
face.
where it's like that was her face.
Yeah. I mean, is that not some of the most funny? Like, because like we do it too for like the thumbnails and stuff. Like when we make those like incredibly like funny, like
Yeah.
like those faces. Like when he finds those little gems and pulls them out and then screen grabs them, it's like, you bitch.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious.
That's like when Aiden was stepping up on one of the stairs. He's gonna kill me for like mentioning. He's like, oh no. But I happened to be recording behind him accidentally. I was just recording, but the thing is, you should be recording because that's when you like don't catch things. We've had that
Yeah,
happen
we
too.
record as much as we can.
Exactly.
Yeah, make sure you're
And then
recording because there's definitely a point in our new video, or if you watch really closely, there's a certain part where I'm looking like I'm recording this whole time and I never pressed record.
Nope.
And Trevor
It was
records
so
my
Oh
screen
no.
for like a second and you
So
see
funny.
that the dot is still there, like it didn't go away yet.
That's like so. Well, so the thing with Aiden, I was recording and he like stepped up. It was just a one-step thing too. He just stepped up and like almost flew backwards.
Oh, yeah.
I recorded that. But what I did was I did like the repeat where he went forward and backwards. But the way his arm just flailed was kind of funny. But at that point in time, he probably didn't find it funny. I did. But
I think every little like hiccup that happens during investigations are funny. Like if
It
somebody
is.
trips or some shit, it's fucking hilarious to me.
it is. You're like, hey, you're okay though, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're
But
good.
It was like when we were walking down the hall, it was on the 3rd floor. This was in Rolling Hills. And there was nobody down that hall. It was just us. And this is where we learned our lesson to freaking record as much as you can.
Yeah.
We somebody, or not somebody, it was a disembodied voice, went psst, like clear as day as
Like,
we were
with
walking
my
down the
attention.
hallway. Yeah, and then we're like, we're gonna walk through here again. And I thought somebody was recording. Nobody was. My mistake.
No.
And yeah, we walked
It
through.
happened
It
again.
happened again. And then and then it's like that never happens on.
I gave you 2 chances, and you
Yeah,
guys were
2
just like,
chances, and
we're
we
going
screwed
back
up.
through.
So then I'm like, did anybody record that? No. And I'm like, no.
Because we were just so excited that it happened.
It was.
No, we do the same shit. We'll get
Yeah,
really in the moment.
Some of my
stuff and be
favorite like paranormal stuff we didn't even capture. Like this loud bang that happened at Eloise Asylum.
We weren't recording.
We were just in the moment, enjoying ourselves, like
Yep.
paranormal investigating.
We said
weren't
we'll take a
trying to
little
record
break. We'll do a
anything,
little fun.
and Just asking questions, and all of a sudden something just like
Bam.
boom.
Yep.
It's when you're not looking.
Yeah,
That's
it's
when it
when
happens.
it's when you're like doing your thing, just kind of talking to each other, talking
Dude,
to
that's
each other.
you're not wrong actually, because at the Asherwalton house we had a parent poltergeist literally knock a bottle off a table before we were recording, like right before we were walking out there with the recorders going. That was crazy, and we got that with CCTV footage, thank God. But not every place has that.
Right.
And then like the other time too, we were at the Double J Ranch. We didn't even know this place is haunted, but it's fucking haunted as shit. And we were done, and we were like taking little like exit like walkout videos because we are like, this is gonna be fucking sick, dude. This is like a big ass like the backdrop is like a like an old pioneer town, like Western style with a bunch of like Christmas lights all
But
strung through
it
everything.
never was. It was made for a movie.
But yeah, it was a replica town, so like it's really pretty. Like it's now they're like, you know, they're like little town where they have like their shops and like their bar area and like a nice dining thing, and like they do like events and shit back there, and they have camping the other side.
It's a cool little spot.
It's awesome. But we were like 4 a.m. We were like the last ones back in the parking lot. We were like walking back through because like we left our like we had, so the place is so big we had to drive from part to part of the location because it's over 800 acres. It's like 1,000 acres.
It's 10,000 acres.
10,000. Sorry, yeah, I always get this wrong. But yeah, so like we investigated like probably like 5% of what we really wanted to get through that night. So we get back there, it's 4 a.m. We're like, all right, we're calling it. I'm tired. Like, let's do this. Do our Baywatch walk. You know, we're walking back,
slow motion.
hit play on it to like watch it again. All of a sudden, we hear these doors. Just
We never even got the shot either because of this.
yeah, and it sounded like a fucking ape was trying to rip its way out of the doors. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? So then we walked, you know, all around the entire western town and checked every door. Everything was locked. There's no people there. There's nobody inside. It was out of season, so nobody was like supposed to be there. We had special permission from like the people that were like the management team there. It was nuts.
And then it's like to think about what can have that much energy.
2,000 acres. Sorry, I over exaggerated. It feels like 10,000 when you're there, though.
You walk 20,000 steps in a night.
But yeah, you think about like what type of energy can like manifest that much strength to do that.
Right.
No.
It's like how? Like what's the battery, you know? Like where's the charger come from? Like what is it? Is it us? Are we the beacons, the chargers, you know, like just our presence, or are we a hindrance? Like is us building out our technology and like industrializing and more power and everything's on the grid now, like is that causing it to not have as much activity so it used to be crazier? Like
we need answers, and that's why we do it. Even
I know
though
that
we
exactly.
Questions.
I know.
I always say
that's
that. I don't know if
so
paranormal
hard.
investigating would be as fun if we knew the answers. I don't know if it would be.
Right. It's like,
Is there
that's
anything?
just Joe Schmo.
Yeah, just Josh. It's fine. That's just Steven. He just comes around here sometimes. Is there anything unique that you guys do on investigations that you think is like something that you guys might be the only ones doing at this point, or something that you guys like to do that just, you know, stands out for most?
I don't say anything in particular. Like
Nothing too wild. I mean, like, cause like my thing is like I always walk into locations now and I go like, "Can I have a hug?" You know, like just go ahead, give me a hug. You know, it's fine.
No, I don't. No, we normally just go into locations like, hey, we come here with respect, and like
Let's
only
talk.
yeah,
Yeah,
we only want to
that's
speak to those that like want to actually talk to us. If you're not having it, like, don't feel pressure to talk to us. We're not trying to
Right.
anybody anything, you know.
yeah, that's what we always say too. It's like we want to know your like story. Like
Right,
tell us your
Yeah.
story.
We also found that like if you go into somewhere where it's like the location is said to have like older spirits, where it's like this like time period, if you talk to somebody and address them in that time period's like style of talking, like like we've had relatively good success with it actually. Like, you know, ma'am, Mr. Sir, please,
Mhm.
thank yous. Instead of just being like, can you do that again? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What is your name?
You
Go
know,
Right this
do your
time.
trick.
we
Do
try
the
our
ghost
best
stuff.
not to
Do the
do
ghost
that.
stuff.
You know what I mean? Like not to do like
Yeah.
do circus tricks or like just
Yeah.
like ask the really like generic questions. But
Sometimes I
like
do feel like that. Like
it's
halfway through a night, though, I'd be like, "Man, I feel like I'm
my
talking to a
brain
dog
turns
right
off.
now."
Like I was just gonna say, it's sometimes it just happens though. Or it's
sit,
just like
stand up, do shake, turn around. Like,
Simon Says, like,
yeah.
bop it, twist it.
Twist
Yeah.
uh,
So
Is there
if
is
you
oh, I got
I
this.
know the
I
exact
know what
question
you're
you're gonna
gonna
ask too. Yeah, go ahead. No, you
If
go ahead.
there's
You got
any
this.
location in the world that you could like say get a week at with every
Yep.
possible paranormal tool and anyone you want to go with, where is that location?
oof, that's so
Nothing's off
hard.
limits either.
Yeah,
Everything's
nothing,
open.
because everyone's got a reason of why.
That's so hard. Because there's like a list of places that we'd love to visit, but it's like
One
shit
that
costs
stands
money, and in
Mhm.
this economy, it's not the greatest. But what about? Do you have any off the top of your head?
I
'Cause I
would.
know mine
I want to
is.
go to the Lizzie Borden house.
Yeah.
That's
I
Just
want to
because
go
that
to.
picture. Yeah.
I want to go to Trans-Allegheny.
Yeah.
Love to.
Both very great places.
solid.
Yeah. So with the Lizzie Borden house, there's a
We'll
photo.
have to send them the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, we could send you guys a picture. But there's a photo that we took. We were just passing through. Do you mind getting the charger for the phone?
No, I'll grab it.
Like, I don't want it to die while we're chatting. There should be one in the living room or the kitchen. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you so much.
A round of applause in the chat.
Yeah.
Round of applause, for sure.
But we were just passing through Mass. I forgot
Mm.
why we were there. Why we were passing through. She'll remember. She'll be the one to remember that portion. But I'm like, okay, we're gonna be passing through. Like we're gonna be
doing it.
We're Lizzie Borden or the Lizzie Borden house, or Elizabeth Borden. And we have to stop by it, and it wasn't open at the time, so we should have done our research. So we're just gonna take pictures, you know. We're gonna see how that goes. And she just took random pictures of me. I actually happened to be wearing one of our like merch shirts, so we were like, perfect. Let's just
this is free
Yeah.
advertisement.
Let's just position it. I'm gonna have to disconnect something, so let me know if you hear us still okay.
Okay.
Do we sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you. All right, now we're not gonna die.
Now we're not gonna die. That's funny.
So she took a picture, and then as we were in the car, we were about, gonna take off. We took our pictures because we're like, this is cool. This is a piece of history that we were able to just, step outside of, look at for a little bit, and leave.
You're like, look at it.
Yeah,
Just look,
we can't
would you
go
look at
inside.
it?
Exactly, we can't
Look
go
at
inside.
it.
That's your favorite. And so we were looking at the picture, and then we noticed in one of them, it looks like somebody's peeking out the window. And it was the room that her stepmother was actually murdered in. Lizzie Borden.
Wasn't she beheaded?
Yeah, I think her like head was
so.
in. Pretty much.
I think something like that. Yeah, it's something. It's something stupid, gruesome.
Yeah, super gruesome.
There's a picture of. Isn't there a picture of his like body on the couch, like in the
Yeah,
house,
there it
above
is.
the couch, the
Yeah.
actual couch. Yeah.
Yep. And you see you see a face and the features of the face. You see where the eyes are. You see where the mouth
Yeah.
is. And everybody has a different face and like where their eyes are and proportions of their face and whatnot. We just happened to look up a picture of Abby Durfee, I believe her name was. That's her stepmother, and it's like the almost identical.
Yeah,
With
you get the same structure look in the picture too, and it's like, what the fuck is happening?
And there was no explanation because we took other pictures consecutively, and there was nothing in that mirror not mirror
Meh.
window.
Here it is.
Nothing.
window.
It's not as clear though.
Yeah, it's not that clear.
But I'll send it. I'll send it to you guys after.
Hey, it's all the same. We're good with it.
It's wild. It's just wild. It's just the features and no explanation for it. Nobody was there.
Nobody should have been in there.
Yeah, no, it should have been in there peeking out at us, but it was consecutive photos, so it wouldn't be like a second, and then somebody you'd see somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
No explanation.
That's incredible. See, that's some of the evidence that it's like, if people want to really dig into it, like go ahead and pull up the data bullshit behind it. I said this yesterday too. It's like, I don't even know how to mess with metadata or do any super editing other than change sharpness and contrast and light.
Exactly.
So
somebody tried to comment and say that it was oh, that's
you manipulated it.
AC vent, and I'm like, but you see the other
halfway up a wall.
So the AC vent moved
in the window. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it disappears. We're gonna talk about that one, bro.
Disappears in the next photo. But then somebody else commented right underneath, and they're like, "Actually, I'm a local to the area, and I visit that location often. There's nothing in that window."
Yeah, happens to be, sir, that I am an expert.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was probably the most visible thing that we have caught on camera or a photo.
That's cool as shit
of
though.
An apparition. So
yeah, how do you explain
But we want to see it face to face. We've never seen an apparition in person, and that's something we
I have yet
see.
to dead on see an apparition too. I've seen it out of the corner of my periphery where I saw a shadow move through somewhere where something was too dark to be moving through there, and it's I didn't just see that.
I have seen a dead ass apparition. I guess really two times, because the other I don't really know if I consider a shadow figure an apparition, because it's so tricky to know if it really was your eyes or not.
Right.
But when I seen real apparitions, it literally in my head I was like, someone's fucking with me right now.
Yeah, somebody's
what I
actually there.
seen is a crazy story. We went to this place called the Ada Witch when I was in high school, and I went with
we're going way back.
It was a Halloween thing because I was really into ghost hunting, and I was like, guys, I want to do something super spooky. Let's go to this cemetery everyone keeps telling me about, because I wasn't from the area. I just played hockey out there, so that's where I was hanging out with my hockey buddies after a game. I was like, let's go to this.
You ain't no country boy. Ada's country
spot. People told me there's ghosts here. I don't know if I believe them. We go there. We go to the grave. We're all sitting around it asking your typical ghost questions. And then all of a sudden we see literally this dude carrying a lantern through the graveyard, an old oil lantern. And
every scary movie, straight up.
Right? Straight up, yeah. And there's 6 hockey guys. So instead of being scared of it, we all rush it. And as it's going behind this giant oak tree, we get up to that tree, and it's not there. It's gone. There's nobody there. There's no person.
So sketch.
They didn't run away from us because they would have been in the wide open.
Right.
They would have had to jump a fence too. They would have been trapped.
And you're carrying a light.
And yeah, you're carrying a light. So it's gonna be making noise and stuff. And that's the creepier part too, is it made no noise, and it was maybe 50 yards from us.
Yeah, and that's noise territory for me, dude.
I've since been there with Trevor, and I've shown him where it was standing and where we were sitting. He's like, dude, yeah, where the fuck would a person have went?
Yeah, where they ran, because like you said, it's basically an open field. There's not even really any trees or anything. It's basically barren. There's just plots. It's that's where that happened at.
There's a couple trees and gravestones. That's it, and it's not very big either.
We didn't even have anything happen.
Lost him for a
Oh, we
second.
dropped out. We're good. Blacked out. You back?
We're good. We're good.
Oops, fuck.
So there
Bumped
was
it.
that time, and then I seen one when I was a kid. Shortly after my great grandmother died, I seen her like in the full like flesh, kind of. She was transparent and like kind of had like a bluish tone to her, but like it was almost like she was standing right there, and she just like waved at me and slowly like diluted out.
Yeah.
And that's
Dude, I mean,
crazy.
fuck.
I have this whole theory behind this because that's one of my
nuts.
like first ghost experiences that was like that in my life. Obviously, it's burnt into my memory. Like it's a core
How is it?
memory
Yeah,
of
how does
this
it
movie.
not?
And like what's crazy about that is my entire life she was like blind, so she had never actually like seen me. But I was at visiting my great grandmother quite often when I was a child, and like I always thought that like she came back to like actually like see her grandchildren because she'd never seen them before. I don't know. It's just like I just have this
that's
weird
wholesome as
intuition that
fuck,
that's what it
though.
was.
It's
And it
wholesome.
makes so much sense to me because if I was blind, I'd probably want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool part too, is like once we do move on, like I feel like we get an option where it's like you either get to like transition into like re-going back into like the being spawned again into something else like world, or you just get to like hang out and time isn't relative,
Or
like
or
you
you
can be a
get to
ghost as
say
long as you want.
like your goodbyes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like if you leave this world and you have any type of like regret, remorse, like unfinished business, or like just like a general want to watch over somebody for a little while, like I don't think that's too out of the question if you're spiritually like strong enough to do it, which who knows how that works. But I mean it's pretty obvious from all the stuff that I've seen recently, and especially like I always bring this up every time. It's the Creepy Confidential Noelle. She has an episode where it's 21 grams. I think it's 21 grams. Where
I get the numbers
I think that's right. I know I always get it.
It's
It's
not
either
on
23
tonight,
or
otherwise we could
21.
correct you like every single
Exactly.
time.
But there's like an experiment where when the body expires, 21 grams or some type of number of grams would leave the body every time, and they accounted for all the fluids, all the other like expiration, like junk that happens, and they couldn't explain what those grams leaving the body was. Well, it's probably your soul. Well, is that the electricity that is like the fuel for ghosts, and that's like what is manifesting like full on like apparitions? Like, like we're still here, but like we're in a totally different physical form and reality to like what's relative now.
Right.
I don't know.
Or when it goes to like the different dimensions, or it's like the parallel dimensions, it's like are all different timelines happening consecutively?
Yeah, exactly. It's that like we're like when we see like, because what if the ghost is seeing us and we're seeing the ghost? So when it's in like that flip moment, like that place is haunted, but it's the portal where you're looking at each other because it's a fucking looking mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they like, who the fuck is that? Like,
yeah, and you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, why are they wearing those weird clothes to looking
Like,
at us?
Or sometimes like only
Where
one
are you?
side comes through, so like they're in their present moment, but you're in yours, and like you can see them, they can't see you. Or what if it's vice versa? They can see you, you can't see them.
Right.
It's so weird to think that too. Well, and then you got to think like dimensions, like 1 dimension, 2 dimensions,
right,
3 dimensions, and
all
then you
the
just keep
overlap.
folding. Yeah, and then it just keeps folding and folding and folding. There's no way that us living in the dimension that we're living, there isn't more that we just can't comprehend, because it lives on a whole different like access that we can't access.
Right. And then it's like for the things that we think of like hypotheticals or like potential theories, it's like we don't even know certain questions to ask.
No.
There's so many things that we don't know and we're still learning.
Yeah, like we still haven't been in the bottom of the earth, like the oceans. We don't know what's inside the earth. We don't know what's all the way inside. Like we don't know what the core is made out of. We will never be able to get to the edge of the universe because our bodies will expire before that's possible. Unless we wormhole technology, and I don't even think you'll ever get to the end of it anyway. But like there's just so many like limitations that us as human beings have. It's like, okay, like there has to be like a reason and rhyme and reason why we're still getting like people that are talking to us though after they're paths. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? That just does not happen. But it
Right.
does.
Well, it makes you think about like the kids that have come from like different time frames or whatnot. Like they remember their past lives and they explain.
That
"Oh, I
one
was
trips
married
me
to
out.
XYZ." And yeah, and then I had these kids and I worked.
It's so
at
vivid
XYZ."
too.
See,
Yeah.
I struggle with that one because the
Only a
original
few, I
360 documentary came out as like they were frauding it. So that
Yeah,
and that
there was
my
one
first-
that is definitely confirmed fraud.
but I know there are other stories that probably are true. And like I don't know if you've ever I forget what this YouTube channel was called. It was a TV show at one point where people talk about their after or their near life death experiences where they were dead for like an extended period of
Oh,
time.
and then they would tell what they would
And they
saw in the
talk
afterlife.
about like what happened in between that. Those stories are like really crazy too.
They're
like,
mind-numbingly crazy.
yeah, my uncle was dead for a period of time, and he was going to tell his story on our podcast once, and he got about 2 minutes in and got too emotional and couldn't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
But he did tell it to us off air.
Yeah,
at one
we
point,
heard the whole story, and it's incredible.
and he explained it like he was in this town that was built from towns from his past, that like places he lived,
Scabbed
or, like,
together,
had
kind of.
memories in, and it was kind of all like pieced together in this one little area. And there was a bunch of people that he had met throughout his life that had like huge impacts on him that had passed away already, and they were there with him. And he like ventured out into this town and was exploring, and he came to this bridge, but half the bridge was broken. And he wasn't sure how he could get to the other side. And people in the town were telling him that he shouldn't go to the other side. But then he saw his dog cross the river, and his dog had died years and years ago, but it was a dog that he loved for a long time in his life.
Yeah.
And he followed the dog across the river, and then he woke up. And it's like, what does all that mean? Like,
Right.
how
Yeah, like, what is that?
I might be
Like, that's
missing some of his
crazy.
story details because he hasn't told it to me in a really long time. But
It's been years. This was like the very
I know I
beginning of
have
the
like a lot
podcast.
of the points of it down.
Yeah, no, you nailed it, like 100%. Because we also told it on the Kyle Aris episode when we did the live with him, and he also had somebody that came on and explained it very similarly and said it was like a football field, basically, like, and there was gates at the end of it, and basically, like, guy just walked and just snapped back, and he was alive again. It's like, what the fuck? Why is it so similar?
And there's certain cultures that believe too that your pets are like kind of like your guide in the afterlife.
It's so symbolic, yeah. It's
I can
so
believe that.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, like I guess all humans probably feel this way, but like animals, you just have like a totally different type
It's
of
a
connection.
deeper feeling, yeah.
It's
Because
like
it's unpathological love. You know what I mean? Like, it's
they
like
know
not
nothing else but
crazy.
to love you. Yeah. They know
Yeah,
nothing
like
else but to love
it's
you.
pure adoration, and like if they see you as the pack leader, like you are the leader.
And it's crazy.
No.
They don't even speak,
Right.
like a
They
language
communicate
that we
with you.
can understand. Neither of us could never understand each other. Like they've been studying this shit forever. But there's that dog that presses buttons. That shit blows my fucking mind.
Yes!
No fucking way.
Yes!
When
I
it
feel the
realized it
dog
had a
saying,
brain,
"Yes!"
dude, it told them that it was depressed, and now it's on
Yes!
antidepressants.
Bro, Buttons tripped me out
Dude.
today. It's crazy that we're talking about this because
Bunny. It was Bunny.
Yeah, Bunny.
yeah, Bunny.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So my cat's name is Mr. Buttons, and
Aw.
I get home from work, and it's almost like he like can understand what I'm saying sometimes. Obviously, he knows keywords.
He's got it down.
Right.
But like I was telling him, he has these like tube things. I call them tubies, and I was like, "You want a tubie?" And he like sparked up his interest, and I opened it, and I said, "Pick one." And his favorite like dish is tuna, anything tuna.
Yeah, he goes
He
fucking
sniffed
nuts.
one, and I was like, no, pick one. And he kept sniffing this green one, and I was like, if that's tuna, I'm actually gonna freak out because that's his favorite. Like, how would
And
he
it
know?
was.
And it was tuna, and I was like, that's actually crazy. Like, he only keyed on one color and was like, nope, that's the one I want.
Animals are super smart, and they talking about like spiritual things too. Like, do you believe that they can see other
Yes,
beings? I think so.
I do. I know my 4-year-old has literally told me that she's seen my mom, which she passed away before she was ever born. And like while she was being born, like my wife, she was like when she was like giving birth, she passed out for a second and stopped breathing. And like she heard a voice say like keep going, keep breathing. And then one random day we went to my dad's house and we were watching home movies and she heard my mom's voice for the first time and she goes, "That's the voice I heard when I was giving birth to Violet." And then yeah, and then like I have a picture over here of my mom and Violet one day just walked over there and she goes, "That's Grandma Lori." And I was like, "The fuck did you just say, dude?"
Right. Wow.
That's
That's
crazy.
so annoying.
Yep. And then I mean like she's had stuff happen in her room too where it's like she had a rocking chair rocking one time on its own. And then she's told us that she's seen a man in the bathroom and in the bathroom there's an attic access.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what is happening? Like
The
don't be
weird
saying
deer
that to
too.
me. Oh
Weird
yeah, and then
deer.
we were doing an episode on skinwalkers and she goes, "Yeah, I seen a weird deer once." Get out of here.
She's right.
Go. Yeah, she's a riot.
It's like you're talking about me.
No, 100%. She gets so embarrassed.
Aw. Did you say mention let's talk about the voicemail?
Oh, with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my sister was on the phone with my grandfather, who passed away not too long ago, but she was on the phone with him, and they were talking about my grandmother who passed away like years and years ago, and
Yeah.
they were like, I wish there was some way like grandma could communicate with us and just tell us that we know that she knows that we love her and we miss her, we wish we could see her. Like, I just wish there was some way. Like, that was the conversation they had. Well, a few hours later, my grandfather called my sister again, but she didn't answer, so he left a voicemail. In the voicemail, you hear hello, like my grandfather say hello, and then you hear in like this disembodied voice say, "Jessica, I love you." And then you hear my grandfather say, "Well, all right, bye." And then you hear like, "No," like she didn't want him to hang up, and then he hung up.
Damn, that's crazy.
I had that. I wish I still had it. It was years ago.
It was in the MySpace days.
Time. I had it.
Yeah,
uploaded
hell
on
yeah.
my
It's deep
MySpace.
in that fucking crypto.
If only I could get on my MySpace.
I know exactly that feeling where it's like, I bet you there's some gems down there and deep in that darkness.
God,
But
oh,
that's
dude, did
like-
you ever get that video from Lindsay of the voicemail that they got at the tattoo shop
No, not yet.
just a few weeks ago? Oh, she told us this story and showed us the voice recording that they got on their voice recorder. At first, it just sounds like nothing, and it sounds
Like somebody called the shop.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just sounds like someone called and didn't realize they were being recorded at the
And they
time.
were
And it was
like,
like, just like something random, and then they hung up. She has this weird instinct to play it in reverse.
Oh
and
man.
I forget what it says, but it clearly
It sounds like legit like words, like something like talked into it in fucking reverse. Or it got picked up in reverse. Because and like that shit happens all the time. Like she was playing music one time.
We'll share it on our Instagram.
Oh, definitely. Like she had a video that she showed us where there was like old style jazz, and it used to be a jazz hall playing, and it was Black Bear radio, and it was fucking Black Bear playing, but the song was not Black Bear that was playing over their PA system. It was legitimately like scat jazz.
Right.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, we'll
like
get that.
what is that?
So many things that just leaves you with more questions. You hear and you're like, what the did you hear that too? And it's like, that makes no sense.
It is.
That's
It's
like,
all the little things that
yeah.
just like they happen, and you're like, how did what?
Yeah.
Like I had someone tell me that I asked me who was friends with me for a long time and had been to my house multiple times. This was before I had buttons. Knew that I didn't have a cat or any pets at this house when I was living here. And they asked me, when did you get a cat? And I said, I don't have a cat.
Ooh.
Like seen a cat in my house.
Right.
Clearly. And then I was like, that's crazy. And then a few weeks later, I seen the cat. But it was like the reflection of the cat in my like stove. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that one was weird.
Did you previously have a cat that like passed away or something? Or?
Forever ago when I was like a
When it
baby.
was little.
Do you think
But it did-
potentially there's
no,
like
they didn't. They weren't the same. The cat that I had, my parents had when I was little, was a
Mhm.
white cat with long hair, kind of like buttons. But
lighter.
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of more like Milo. If Milo's around,
Yeah, he's
it's more like
somewhere.
Milo.
Yeah, I got a long-haired white Maine Coon looking cat. Although I don't think he's a Maine Coon. He's too small.
Your
Yeah,
mom's
I already
I-
said it's Milo.
I think animals definitely could have.
Dude, they
ghosts.
sense everything. Like they have to have this like extra like. Tell them what.
well, it's like their eyes can see a
Milo.
different like spectrum than we can.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
And they can see in the dark. Like they don't even have to flip their eyes or anything.
Mhm.
Like they just naturally they can see in the dark. Imagine like that means they're permanently seeing an IR essentially
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
dark.
One time I was reaching out. I was like saying bye to the dogs before we left. I'm like, hey, bye. And I'm like reaching out. I feel Zoe, but I don't know where's Romeo because I'm blind as hell in the
Yep.
you can't see in the dark. So I'm like reaching my hand out and into the abyss because I see nothing. And then Romeo clearly can see that my hand is, out. Puts his head like lands it,
Right
like,
onto it,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, thank you. You know I was looking for you.
Like good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that like it's just something about it. And like like being in nature too. Like another good like evidence of it is like you're in a cemetery, right? And you hear all these noises, like you see squirrels, you see deer, you see birds. But then when like stuff starts to happen, like if you pay attention, like there's no birds, there's no animals, there's no sound. Like you might hear like in the distance, like the dead sound, like that drowning sound of crickets, but
Mhm.
like nothing right up on you.
See,
It's
animals that are nocturnal don't want to make noise because it gives away their position.
Well, that's true, but like realistically, like you would think that you would see like a few more animals than what we do where we go usually. Because a lot of the places that
because they can
Dude,
see you
out in
way
Montague, I'm thinking that we should see a lot more like rodent life, like bunnies, like shit like that roping around.
Right.
Because it's
Well, I
like
mean,
those
like,
are overgrown
at
as
least you see
fuck.
the crickets. Yeah. There was
Yeah,
this one
it's just
video.
eerie.
Yeah,
There's
there was one video
I
I
don't
saw.
know.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but like sometimes in the night, like there's a silence that's like deeper than the actual silence, to where like
Yeah,
there's
where
literally
everything
no
turns
noise at
off.
all. Sometimes it happens and it's insanely creepy. Like
Yeah.
I've been a
It
hunter my
makes me
entire
feel like,
life.
is that me though? You know what I mean? Like, is that my ears turning off, or is that legitimately like everything just got quiet?
Am I like
It's wild when
hypersensitive?
it
And,
happens.
like, right now? No, it was this one video that I saw, and it's like in relation to that.
Mhm.
It was this like guy just biking through the woods, and he just happens to stop in a certain area, and like you hear all the crickets and the animals and whatnot, and then all of a sudden it just gets quiet, like you don't hear any bugs or anything, and
That's what I'm talking about. Like
yeah, and
everything
then
just shuts
obviously
up.
he got the fuck out of there. It was like, oh no, I'm going.
Nope.
It's not a
Yeah,
good
that's
sign.
probably a big nope.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Ghost hunting dog.
I mean, yes and no, because my dog isn't very well behaved in other people's houses.
No,
She fucked
definitely not.
Riley's floor up, so like
Oh,
we don't take her on too many places right now. That she was a puppy when it happened, and it's been a couple of years, and like we brought her back since, but like I still don't trust her because like she gets real anxious when nobody's around her.
Aw, yeah.
And it's like I get it, but like she's like comfort dog, where she's like I gotta be in my house. I need to be big bean dog.
Aw. Yeah, and Zoe's just like whining. She's like, I want to be in there. But we know.
Let me love.
Yeah, let me just come in there. And Romeo just barks at the mailman. And I'm like, this guy's not harming anything. Stop barking at him.
But
He's bringing you your
front
toy."
yard.
Yeah.
This is crazy. There's a room they built
dude.
where it's so quiet you can hear blood streaming and heartbeats.
Oh.
And clearly people can't stay in there for that long.
I know
They'll go
exactly
mad.
what she's talking about. It's like this gigantic
light
like
room.
dome room with like a fuck ton of like crazy different like padding that you walk out into this like net and you lay on the net and you shut the door and people cannot last more than like a minute in there. because it literally will drive you insane. Like, it's so oppressive, they said. Like, it's insane, dude. I watched so many like videos on it. I was like, oh my God.
Can
I was
you
like,
hear
that's
like
incredible.
do they capture this audio too, like of their blood and heart and everything?
Probably. I mean, like, just think about it, dude. The only sound that happens in that room realistically is the sound of your cells, your body, and your organs doing their thing. That's the only thing your ears can pick up.
You hear your swallowing, you're blinking. Yeah. Ew.
Oh, it's kind of, yeah, that's creepy as
Dude,
fuck.
it makes my heart start racing and go like, wow. Like, I don't think I want to hear all that, because
That's
that
like
does
the
sound
most
very
insane,
like that sounds like the
deprivation.
worst torture. Like, that sounds like seriously torture.
But that's just all you hear.
Because you're breathing.
I've never heard of that before, and now I have to look it up.
Because like I thought sensory deprivation would be cool, like doing like in the salt water bath, and and then doing that, and then trying to do like some type of like paranormal thing with it. But
Nick Groff has done an experiment with that in a location, in a house. He did it in the basement. It was like a little like tent thing he set up with water, and he had a wild experience where he had like a vivid. It was almost like lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
But it was like it like led to them actually finding an unmarked grave or something along those lines.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
See, because like I go into like a trance mode sometimes when we're in the SS method for a long time. Like if we do it for more than say like 20 minutes, like I'll just have my eyes closed for a second, and I'm just like imagining very vividly of things that I'm like, I have no business remembering what this looks like right now, or like what even is this? Like I don't think my mind basically can make up new things. Like I don't think it's physically possible unless it's deriving things from other things I've seen. Which I mean, it's possible that's working, but once it like starts all correlating and you're like, I see a house with a porch, and then it's like, why the fuck am I talking about ranches and like family plots? Like, what the fuck? Why am I seeing this?
And then it's like, why me? Why did you choose me?
Why me? Why am I like this? Why am I the lightning rod?
Have you had any like paranormal? I guess not paranormal experiences. We've UFO experiences. We'll go with that.
Extraterrestrial.
Have you ever seen a UFO, or maybe thought you did?
I saw one on investigation once. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, we actually have. I think we actually posted one of the videos that we have caught, and someone said it was like, oh, that's just a satellite. It's like, then why did it just, the way it moves does not make sense for it to be a satellite.
It just disappeared. That's the thing. Like
it didn't.
And the whole sky was clear. So why did it?
And then there was this other one that we couldn't record just because it was the quality and how dark it was outside, and But it looked kind of like a star, but it wasn't a star, and it was moving so fast. And it wasn't a shooting star, because you would see, the little tail end.
Yeah, you see the tail on it.
Anything, and it was moving so fast. It was here, and then gone. And it made no sense whatsoever. Yeah, that's probably like the only thing that we've really experienced UFO wise. What about you guys?
We've had a lot of UFO experiences, actually.
I've seen some crazy stuff, honestly. Like there's this one time, it was me, my dad, my sister, now my sister's husband, Alex, and two other people. And we were all looking at this one area because there was 3 lights. They're all spaced out pretty far apart from each other, and we were all just kind of looking at them because it was the middle of the day, and it was just really strange to see bright lights in the middle of the blue sky in the summer. Like it was just so strange. And then they like all like moved in weird directions, but like stayed in a triangle. Like they all went separate directions, but when they stopped, they were all in a triangle again. And then they did it again, and then they just like shot in a direction that like I've never seen a plane, like the way they stopped and moved, like I've never seen anything like
a helicopter or plane
like
do it.
that. So, like so in tune with each other of like how and it was such a
the altitude
and,
too
like,
didn't make sense.
No sense at all. And then they all just disappeared, and all of us seen this. And then there was the time me and Trevor seen one together that was actually like kind of close to us.
Yeah,
the
that
light
one was nuts, dude.
actually were coming through like the trees. We could
Mhm.
see the light, and then
There was no sound.
no sound. We thought it was a helicopter at first, but then we're like, "There's no chopper wash. What the fuck's going on here?" And then it disappeared.
Yeah, because we would think being in the area that we were in, Coast Guard might be coming through to save somebody on the lake or
Right.
something, like
Right.
boats are very frequent around there. Nothing.
Yeah, it just disappeared. No noise.
Yep. But it still illuminated where we were sitting, and it illuminated the chair I was sitting in for like a good 10, 15 seconds, and then it just was like, no more. Fuck was that? Like I'm shooketh. Like I can't unforget that now.
Yeah, I've seen some weird stuff, but I think
somebody else.
I think a lot of the UFO sightings have to do with where we live, being on Lake Michigan. and
Yeah.
being connected
It's
to the
got to
Great
be the
Lakes.
fresh water and water sources in general. There's some type of mineral or something that they want, or realistically, it's just like we're just interesting. I don't know. Like it's so ironic too, because like we have like experiences like that quite frequently. Like I said, like I had one where we were at Nunica Cemetery and I was laying on the ground because I just did a hockey tournament and they were starting the investigation and we had just went for like a good hour and a half and had a bunch of crazy shit happen. And I was laying on my back and it looked like somebody took a laser pointer and like literally in the stars. Like I'm not talking like, a plane like height, like it was way too high up, but it was big enough to where it looked like a full-size star. So it had to be something pretty big. Like moving like somebody was just like whoop 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 whoop.
Right.
whoop,
Yeah, that's exactly how
woo.
that's exactly like best way to explain what we saw. That was like it looked like a star, but like you said, the altitude makes no sense for a plane or a helicopter or anything.
Yeah, or a laser. There was nothing for a laser to hit on because it was a clear
Right.
night. And it's like, I'm laying on a fucking cemetery plot right now, looking straight up in the sky. I shouldn't be seeing it.
I really want to see a UFO while I'm in an airplane. Like I really want that to happen.
I mean, shit, dude. I want to be like go on a camping trip and like walk up to like like a pond in like the proverbial like forest where it's just like thick, nobody's around, and it's like the fog's just like really dense, and it's like early morning, like sipping my like Nalgene of coffee, and then I just look over and there's just like that ball of light, and it's just pulsating, and I'm like, what's that? I'm gonna walk over to it. And I'm gonna check it out. And I walk over to it, and it's just hovering there off the ground, makes no sense, no sound, and then it just like turns and opens. It's like, mother of God, they've come for me.
It is my time.
Take me.
I will
with
go
me.
with you, and I will be your king.
Just live long and prosper. Take me to your leader. Oh shit, yeah. I mean, realistically though, I don't think I mean, yes, I would be scared. Like that sounds jarring as fuck. Cause like there's been enough movies and like scary shit that I've seen that like makes me go, whoa, 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 whoa. Like that's pretty incredibly sketchy, and I don't want to get plugged in the butt by something as an experiment. Like we all know how very popular that is with getting abducted. But I mean, like, it's just how fascinating it would be to just be like, I have so many questions.
Mhm.
Like, what? Like, I don't even know where to start because there's already enough questions that I can't answer here. But now we've already added a whole another civilization, race, and like and like culture structure and like their history, and it's like
Mhm.
I'm not gonna live long enough to understand any of this.
And then it's like, what questions do you ask if you ever have the opportunity? Because there's too many. And it's like there's questions you don't even know to ask that you should ask.
Exactly. Yeah.
No,
Like
I'm just hoping that they're so good at reading my mind, they just tell me the answers, all of them. They're just like,
just
knowledge.
please telepathically answer.
Yeah.
it's like they're just big
Knowledge,
floating
just like,
brains that just like
"Whoa,
burn.
That's crazy. I didn't know I knew that. That's
Like,
I
I
now
don't
know
know.
everything. See, I mean, like it's just like stuff like that where it's so fascinating. And then the way that disclosure has been like almost on point telling you, yeah, there's like money trails to like black sites working on what seems to be extraterrestrial technology that they're like retrofitting for whatever purpose that they're using it for.
Mhm.
And yes, they don't report to any government official because they are black sites. Like they don't need
Right.
to. but like there's money going to them. And like homeboy found it, was hired by the government to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and it just it's very ironic that like we get a lot more of these like videos coming out and like people coming forward and like a lot of these servicemen and women that it's like you guys are at sea, like at sea, seeing things come out of the water where we can't realistically patrol the whole water.
Right.
At 75% of this earth, good luck.
Yeah.
I bet you we can cover 5 of that if we really try.
Do you know about like the Janet Airlines thing from Area 51? Do you know about that?
I don't think I know about that either.
Oh, this is crazy.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a separate airline at the Las Vegas airport called
Mhm.
Janet Airlines. Stands for just another airline or something like that. And the government and government officials pretty much, I don't know if they admit to it now, but for a really, really long time, they said that the airline didn't exist. It's not at the airport. There's nothing there.
Mandela.
And what's crazy is I have a friend who worked at the airport.
Oh,
And he put fuel into airplanes. But that particular side of the like airport was totally different. And you weren't allowed to talk about it. You weren't allowed to like go walk over there. You weren't allowed to take like, a
Crazy.
cart and drive over there. And like, if you even, he started bringing it up because I started asking him about it because I was like, dude, I got to know.
like ribbing them.
I was like, find out what you can find out. That might be like crazy.
I need to know now.
He brought it up and he got brought into like a back room and was said that he can't be walking around asking questions about that place.
Nope.
But he did send me a picture. He like took a Snapchat.
Yeah, like what the fuck is
Send it
that,
to me.
man? I don't understand. Like, what's so secretive about some of this stuff? And
Right.
like the fact that the location it's at too, a little sus, just a little sus. Like
Mhm.
some remote locations, man. Like I think that's the best outpost to hide your sketchy shit.
Right in plain sight.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like it would make a lot of sense to hide that shit in plain sight because people are just gonna walk right on by.
And it's
never
crazy
gonna know.
too because none of these planes have tail numbers. And to fly, you have to have a tail number registered. I mean, I work in the,
You
I
as
work
an
with it-
FFA
I
or
work in
whatever.
airplanes now, so I know
Yeah.
some of this stuff. But like, you have to have a tail number to fly because of all of the like serial
Like
and like certifications tied behind that
Right.
plane and the engine and that's attached to the plane. So like the fact that these things take air and don't even have the like normal requirements for an aircraft is
It's
just
crazy.
and they take off from an international airport.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you guys probably have heard the stories like under JFK, or maybe it's not JFK, but one of the big metropolitan airports. Under it, there's just tunnels, massive tunnels that lead like tons of different places that have like a super network that go all over the world, basically.
That would
Like
be
dude, and that's where like the global network of like like that actually controls the world is actually at the 1% of the 100% that we aren't. Like,
Is it the same airport where they have like weird like statues and like
yes.
portraits and yeah.
Yep. And like there's like doors that seem to go to nowhere, and it's like
Yep.
oh, is it
little
Denver?
suspect. Yes,
Is it
I think
Denver
it is the
Airport?
Denver airport. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude,
It's
that place
super
is
weird,
nuts.
dude.
That's the
It's
craziest
weird.
airport I've ever been into in my entire life.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of weird stories. I mean, granted, it's like the Reddit no sleep forum. I'll see a lot
Yeah.
of cool stories about it, and it's like it's the fun ones for sure. But like, there actually are some pretty good like people that are like, no, like straight up like check this fucking out. Like this is weird. Like I mean, it's interesting as shit. I think I would try to go through the back rooms if I could, but also like, no.
Dude, oh,
Yeah,
is that
no,
room
not-
stuff, is that
Not
legit?
locked in it.
If that shit is legit, my mind is blown. The
Have you guys ever
backroom
heard of the
stuff?
SCP archives?
No,
SCP.
haven't.
Oh man, because like the SCP archives are kind of like how the back rooms is. So like that could be an SCP archive itself. So like there's thousands of them. So like one of them is a plague doctor, the other one is the zombie virus. The list goes on and on and on and on. But like, what if that stuff is real? Like what if the spooky stuff that everybody tells about? Hold on, bye. Cool. But like what if that stuff like is actually like doesn't come from nowhere, you know, like these myths
Right.
and legends and all these like accounts of people like having these stories, like they aren't crazy. Like there's
Mhm.
basis to all of this. Like people like do have good imaginations, but realistically it's like it was all derived from something somewhere at some time.
Right. It's like that one TikTok user, I think his account is taken down, but I'm sure you'll find like the videos floating around somewhere. It's a dude that like worked on a ship. He like worked getting like crabs and lobsters, I don't know, something along those lines. And he caught like just clips of videos that like made no sense and they believed it was like siren-esque.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and it's
Like
like he
Iron
threw
Man?
out, what was that?
Siren Man. What is
Oh,
that?
siren
Siren
esque.
Head.
Oh, siren head.
Yeah.
But no, it was like he threw like a crab out into the ocean, and it's like deep out into the ocean, not like
Yeah.
land, like deep out into the ocean.
Like there's no
And
bottom.
yeah, right. And it's like something threw that crab back onto the ship.
No reason for that shit at all.
No
Like
reason.
fish
that
don't do that.
No,
Fish don't have arms.
No.
no.
Fish
And
are
it
gonna
just
eat
made
it
no
if they're
sense.
gonna do
Yeah.
anything.
I don't know if it was like ruled as like somebody was faking those videos, but I don't know. They seem
Like
to
had it on a fishing line and yanked it back in or some shit. But like, yeah, like what? I don't know.
made no
I
sense.
believe that there's more unexplainable shit in the water than there is on
Mhm.
land for real. I think like at some point somebody's just gonna realize that like you're catching shit out there every day that you've never seen before. Like
Mhm.
we can only go to a certain depth, and there's plenty
Right.
more ocean that we just haven't seen yet because it's just so big. It's vast. It's a
Right.
giant underwater desert of
That we
just
can't explore.
craziness.
Like
Looks
we
like
can't
aliens.
see everything.
No
We
way.
can- We can't. It's just impossible. Like
You can do
the
your
thing that
best.
we're looking for
but
could be
no.
right there, and you would never even know. It could just be
Mhm.
100 feet below you. The water clarity isn't that great in that spot. You can't
And
see
it's
it.
gone.
You'll never even know.
Yep.
And that could easily be housing like a ton of secret animals or like intelligent animals or beings, I guess, or creatures or cryptics or whatever you want to call them at this point, because I don't think they're that out of the realm of possibilities. You know, where it's like that stuff is not weird to me at all.
Well, it's like I've seen you have like videos of like UFOs just going into water or coming out of water, and it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah,
is that where
and
they
to
live?
me,
Is that where some of them
Yeah.
live? Deep in
So,
the
like,
water?
the one
Possibly.
UFO account that always gets me is the one that happened on the U.S. Navy ship, where like the entire crew was out on.
I think it was the Hornet.
Yeah, and I think it was too, and they seen multiple aircrafts go in and out of the water.
Splash, splash,
And they
splash.
filmed all of this stuff too, and it's in the Black Vault files. I'm pretty sure somewhere. I forget what case file it is, but it's like you can go look at all of this stuff now that's been declassified. But
Mhm.
that story's insane because these dudes were actually terrified. They didn't know what to think. Like they thought they were
Are
getting
we
attacked.
being attacked?
Like they were shooting at it, like sending torpedoes at this stuff, and like we're trying
Yeah,
to take it down because they
like
were
different.
terrified. They had no idea what was happening.
I mean, look at the Battle of Los Angeles. Like
I
that
just
actually
think that's the
happened.
typical
Yeah,
we're
that too.
shoot at it. We don't know what
Fucking get it.
Kind of scary because you don't
Yeah.
know what it could do bad.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not gonna be like a trigger happy, like, you know, like Yahoo, but like
No.
realistically, it's like I understand why you would like
Yeah.
be that jarred though, for
Yeah.
sure. Because it's
Yeah,
like
I mean these
And
things
how
are
do you-
found in
how
the
do you
water for
how do you
days.
comprehend it too? Like if it's something you just like physically don't know what it is and you see it for the first time in your life, you know, like what are you how does it get perceived right away? Like, are you gonna immediately go to something that you like, oh, that's like human like, or
Right.
like, oh, that's like a dish where I eat off of it? Or is it gonna look like what it is, where it's like an amorphous, like physical, like energy ball, where it's like, what the fuck is that? I mean, I don't know, man. Like it drives me really wild and like always keeps me up at night when I get into those like really deep thought holes where it's like, okay, what if black dark matter like engines exist in other realities and we can find them? It's like, oh man, go to bed. Like we don't need to be doing this tonight.
Stop watching
You're
Rick and
like,
Morty.
I'm not gonna come up with these answers myself, but what if?
No. Well, and then also you wonder too, like, are a lot of these answers too like out there already? Like, because I read an article that a physicist had found an energy source that was like its own perpetuating energy maker, but they hadn't found a way to harness it yet. So like put it to like practical use yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't hear about that at all. Not even a little bit. It's like, why is that? And then not only that, there was like literal accounts of like people curing cancer and AIDS and things like that that
There's a
were
lot of things you
just
don't hear. That's
they
just
were unalived. Like,
yeah, yeah, like
you
the
know,
love
like what the fuck is
engine,
that?
or
Somebody will lose money.
Yeah, the hydrogen engine that the dude
Yep.
created, and then
Yeah.
they basically just wiped him off the map.
Why? Why?
all about money. Unfortunately, it's disgusting.
So that always makes me wonder too, like at the end of the day, like nothing's safe. Everything is off limits for nothing to nobody with money. And like you can buy your way out of anything and everything is what it seems like. Like when
Right.
you see like the money trail like that, it's like, oh shit, that's sketchy as fuck. And
Like
then
that
you know
list
it's
that
like
was recently released.
yeah. Or like how I think I talked about it a few times now, where it's like that the earthquake that happened in South America. Like people are starting to like, I mean, the conspiracy theorists are starting to say like it's because of the kinetic railgun that they have that's massive and like can wipe out a whole country in one go, and it's in Antarctica and it's owned by the United Nations, and they're just testing it out to see if they have to use it in certain war zones.
Jeez.
And it's like, I mean, it's fucking, it is a crazy, crazy, crazy thing to think about. But Antarctica is a frozen desert. There's a lot of outposts, and there's a lot of accounts of people that are at these outposts saying, like, we literally, there's these like zones that are exclusion zones. You cannot go in.
Yep.
Why? Like, it's quarantined off. Why?
It makes me think about like the Vatican archives too. It's like, why
Yeah,
can't
like, what the
we
fuck is down there?
access
Like, what the
that?
fuck is down
That's
there?
the kind of
Oh.
stuff that gets me, or like what was in the Library of Alexandria that will
Yeah,
never
before it
know.
burned.
Right.
'Cause I feel like so many answers to our
Yeah.
like why
Dude,
we're here was in that library. That we're talking
Yeah.
like so many years of written human history in
It's
so many
the
different
entire
languages.
history period where it's everything was expanding. It was the Renaissance, you know, it was the beautiful like period of growth, and it just all burned. Like,
It's a shame.
Well, maybe they do know.
the Vatican probably swooped in and stole all of it before anybody knew that it didn't actually all burn
I'm
up. So they
sure
just have it
I-
down there.
Yeah.
I
It's like
think
you don't
they've recovered some of the artifacts from it that they kind of know were in there
Mhm.
and were able to track down because people did escape with stuff, but I don't know exactly what was ever discovered from there.
But I mean,
Right.
look at the Crusades too as a whole. Like, burn, pillage, and rape. Like, let's go. Like, they were all about that shit. Like, and I mean, like, that was like a take no holds barred. Let's burn down their houses and like give no fucks. And it's like that you're already destroying like books. You're destroying, like people's like homesteads to the point where those towns probably will never recover. And they
Right.
lose all of their records. They lose all of the lineage stuff. Like
Oh.
everything is fucking gone.
That was a very dark time in human history.
Awful. Absolutely fucking
We were
awful.
absolute like I wouldn't even describe us as human at that point. We were just monsters.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
People were like so concerned with bloodlines, money, and wealth that they didn't even care about anyone else
Yep.
at all.
And now
And
it's
if-
social
especially if you
status
were-
and money.
Oh, and if you were different than them, they definitely didn't like you.
Mhm.
Dude, it is crazy to think about it too, because if you look back at all of it too, like the beginning of civilizations, they valued, like different. Then it moved up, and then every time like the social system changed or the culture changed a little bit, like the values changed with it, to the point where like you see it in every generation now, where it's like our parents' generation valued different things than what you'll see like my kids' generations are gonna value, because it's like cell phones are so much more acceptable now, and like it's like the basically all the kids are going to be at school online now, basically it seems like in some point. Like, it's incredibly crazy to think that from the point that we went to school to now, it's like it's that different already. Like, it goes through so many iterations.
Days.
Yeah.
No more snow days or school is closed. Gotta hop
It's fucking
online.
crazy. I laughed way too hard when I found that out. I was like, it was like, good, good. Too bad for you. I got to
But
go
it's like,
snowboarding and sledding.
but it's like you think about all that like bad history. You think about all that trauma and
Yeah.
like impressions that have left on that land, that property. Even you think about like
It's
generational
scars.
trauma too. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's like there's no escaping those. Like when the area of land is scarred like that, I think like you get the imprint of the bad stuff for sure. And unfortunately, there's a lot of bad in this world. Like
And-
that's just the God honest truth, and it happens a lot. And it's not like always to be bad because that's not always how it happens anymore. But if you look at societies in a whole, like it was the norm to kill certain people. It was the norm to kill off other tribes because they were not your tribe.
Mhm.
You know, like killing was like almost just completely fine for a long time. And that happened everywhere. Not just like over there, like
Right.
everywhere. Like that's crazy to me. Like it's just crazy to me because you never know what type of spirit you're running into. Because even if you're not getting intelligent responses, like if you're still getting like hits of like electromagnetic like pulses and stuff, or a cat ball moves or something like that, yeah, that's probably more likely to be like some type of spirit. But like it doesn't always have to be like that's like Jim Job Bob. Like
Yeah.
he was the owner of Billy Bob's right there around
Right.
the corner. Like no, it realistically could be any spirit from any time period.
Just passing through.
Yeah, just bit bopping through, and I just happened to kick your ball.
I'm waiting for that. Like a spirit to come through. Like, oh, just passing through.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Oh, especially like here in Michigan too. If I get any opes in any of those EVPs, dude, I'm going to literally just start dying. Like that is seriously the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life at that point. Because it's such a Michigan thing for you to just be like, oh, sorry. Oh. Like I hear that way too often. Like in public, it happens more often
I
than
do
you
it.
think
I
it
don't
would
even
do.
think about it every time.
Second nature.
Like at my work, there's these two corners that it just seems like you're almost bound to almost run into someone every day. And every time I'm like, oh, I don't even, it's like a reaction. I don't even
sorry.
think about it.
Sorry.
Oh,
I mean, we could just call it Paranormal Research Productions. Oh my god, that's
I think it is a
incredibly
good
funny.
time to wrap it up for tonight, though. Almost 2.5 hours. We
We
appreciate
could
y'all
probably
for
keep going for a
sticking
long
around.
time.
We definitely
So
could
many
look
things to
into
talk
it.
about.
I know we barely scratched the surface for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely have to run it back at some point.
for sure.
Yeah, I like this conversation a lot. You guys are chill as fuck.
Thanks. Likewise.
I was say it's seriously always fun too to like meet people that are so like minded. Because it's like as soon as we start talking, I was like, God, you guys are like me and Riley in like girl form. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this is crazy.
That's funny.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, we appreciate everyone in the chat for sticking around, hanging out with us tonight. We love every single one of you. If you haven't yet, please make sure to go hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out a whole bunch. We're trying to hit 500 subs, so we're like super duper close. We might even be there.
Hells yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully that'd be really cool. Before we go, we should have done this at the beginning. She already knows that she won this, but the winner of the Kickstarter campaign hoodie giveaway was Pandora from Paranormal Wasteland. So we appreciate your
The Boozy Bros.
pledge to the
Paranormal
Kickstarter.
Wasteland.
Unfortunately, we didn't reach the goal, so we don't get any of the money.
We
that
actually
did
got a
raise.
lot closer than I thought we did.
Yeah, we almost made $3,000. So we appreciate that kind of support. Like that's insane to even
Yeah, that's
think
fucking
that
nuts.
people are willing to help us out that much.
Fucking be that crazy. Fucking
We're still
crazy.
gonna do the project. It's probably just gonna take us a little bit longer than it would have.
Yeah, and we're gonna scale it back. Scale it back a little bit.
It's gonna be scaled back a little bit, but the project will still move forward. And with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Boom. In the night.
Peace.
Thank you again, guys.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.